of its beloved members this year. Matt Keogh pitched for the Green and Gold from 1977 to 1983, earning All-Star honors in his 1978 rookie season. Claudell Washington joined the Athletics in 1974 at the age of 19 years old. He helped the team win its third consecutive World Series and was a two-time All-Star during his 17-year career. Ed Sprague Sr. was an original member of the 1968 A's team. He was the first of 3 generations to be part of the A's family. Miguel Marte, a first baseman signed out of the Dominican Republic, played in the A's farm system from 2008 to 2012. Jimmy Graff, our beloved hot dog vendor, was a friendly face for countless A's fans and employees alike. Harold Miller was a fixture at the Coliseum since it opened in 1966. He worked with the A's organization for over 50 years and was a friend to everyone. Chester Farrow worked for the A's for 5 decades in the control room, supplying stats to the video board. He was known as the life of A's productions. Roy Steele, aka the voice of God, was the public address announcer for the Green and Gold for nearly 4 decades. He missed just 5 days of work in his 38 years. The A's also want to take this time to honor some of the latest victims of racial injustice. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and the countless black men, women, and children who have unnecessarily lost their lives. We also will take this moment of silence to recognize those in our community, country, and around the world who have lost their lives to COVID-19. Thank you.
We've been told that our peaceful place.
We're not made at the right time.
At the right place.
In the right way.
We've been told to wait.
But we remember when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. warned us
That the word wait
has almost always meant never.
We will wait no longer.
We'll make our voices louder.
For all of us who can.
And for all of those who could not.
8 minutes and 46 seconds is enough time to lift a knee.
To do what is right.
To say something.
To acknowledge the pain of the black community.
You have cheered for us,
but we need you to cheer with us now.
when we need you most.
Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
It's our cheer for change.
It's your cheer for us.
It's these cheers that will unite us.
One team.
One dream.
Be the change.
In order to achieve effective change and create a new canvas of optimism, empathy must lead the charge. This moment signifies our charge, our brotherhood, our unity. Equality and unity cannot be until there is empathy. Today and every day, we come together as brothers, as equals, all with the same goal, to level the playing field, to change the injustices. Equality is not just a word, it's our right. Today, we stand as men from 25 nations on 6 continents. Today, we are one.
Thank you. At this time, please rise and remove your caps for our national anthem, as recorded by Dr. Matthew Zavad.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed sailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Dr. Owens, how you doing? It's Pete Alonso with the New York
We are at the Oakland Coliseum. It's the opening week presented by Provident Credit Union. Tonight, game one of a 4-game series to get things going. It's the Athletics hosting the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to the Oakland A's telecast here on NBC Sports California. And we are excited to get this season going. Broadcast partners Ray Fosse, Dallas Braden, as always, we are ready to roll. And you know what? The players as well. They're ready to embark on a season that, well, it's not going to be like any other season they've ever played in. But as us broadcasters, it's going to be the same thing. We are ready to roll also. Let's start with Ray Fosse. Ray, this team, a very talented A's team, has a chance to do a lot of damage in a short 60-game schedule.
And Kipe, you're exactly right. Whether it be 162, which would have been a normal season, or the 60 that is planned to be played, this club is very good. They have the pitching, they have the bullpen, they have the defense, they have the offense. It's a complete club, and I think the biggest thing is get off to a good start and not have pressure on themselves. Play the game as if they were just playing 162, but it is definitely a sprint.
And Dallas, how important is the quick start for the Athletics with this short season?
Well, I think it's extremely important. You want to get off on the right foot. You want to make sure you build a great foundation for you to head off into this 60-game sprint, as we have heard so often. So lay that foundation and brick by brick find yourself in the postseason.
All right, starts tonight with Frankie Montas. He will get the baseball against Andrew Heaney, the left-hander for the Angels. So we're excited and we're ready for baseball. It's the A's and the Angels coming up next, opening night at the Coliseum. Lineups and first pitch in just a moment. As we expected, as we are set for opening night of this 2024 season, starting a little bit later than we all thought. But that's okay. It is going to be baseball, 60 games, 66 days for the Athletics. Everybody knows that number. And it's time to go immediately. No slow starts for the Athletics. Let's hope not anyways. And they will take on the Angels tonight. There's their new manager, Joe Madden. And it's an Angels team that has their sights on the postseason, as do the Athletics. And with the expanded postseason, I think they both got an excellent chance. We'll talk about that tonight as well. But guys, you ready to roll?
Absolutely. I'm ready. I know Dallas is always ready down there with his heater.
Yes, sir.
Ready to go?
Got a log on the fireplace, and I am ready for first pitch.
Do you have any marshmallows, hot dogs, or just the heat?
We're going to wait for the s'mores. I want some more baseball, though, first.
Dallas Braden downstairs, as always. He's got the good seat right up behind home plate. And Dallas, tell us about kind of the atmosphere down there. I know it's strange, and we asked you this the other night as well. It is not anything close to normal And it is what it is. The question is, can we all get used to having games with no fans in the stands?
I tell you what, the sooner that we get comfortable being uncomfortable, the sooner I think collectively, as a fan base and as a sport and as a nation, we can start to heal. And I tell you, as these players start to mingle around and get ready, you can see them shaking out their legs, shaking out their arms, they're stretching, they can feel the itch, they can feel the anticipation, and I can sense that just from them milling around downstairs. So I cannot wait. The umpires are itching as well. Joe Madden has given some final instruction to the machine, and we are just moments away from getting this thing kicked off here in Oaktown.
And guys, I don't think it really matters. Opening day, whether it be, in this case, it's supposed to be in March. It happens to be July the 24th for the Athletics. It's still opening day, opening night. And I think that's the most important thing, and that's where the jitters are, and that's where it begins. It's just a little bit different knowing that you're not going to play 102 games that you normally would be playing. Instead, it's going to be 60.
Well, this is the 53rd season of Oakland A's baseball. A lot of success. Ray, you've been here for a lot of success. You've seen pretty much all of it. And this A's team coming off a 97-win season last year and a 97 season win 2 years ago. It is a talented group. They now have a pretty good idea how to win, and their goal now is to overtake the Houston Astros in the division. It's pretty simple. Not simple to do, but that is simply the goal.
But Kipe, you know, you said it best. This team knows how to win. They've been together, and I think that's one of the attributes for Billy Beane and David Forrest, to have a club that, sure, they've added a few pieces, but by and large, it's the same club that has been together. Unfortunately, seen defeat in the wild card game each of the last 2 years, but that's something they've built on. They know that they have an opportunity to do something very special in a shortened season, and why not start tonight with that season, starting against a pretty good ball club in the Angels, as we're going to see throughout this last couple of months.
Well, in the Angels, they've had 5 straight years of not going to the postseason. That's with the best player in baseball on your team, so that is why their goal this year. Let's get in and see what happens.
And you know, Kipe and Dallas, I don't think that guy would have signed the contract he signed, which was huge, if he did not think that they had a chance to go into postseason, because he wants to win.
So Joe Madden's going to see if he can bring his winning ways to the Angels as the Athletics take the field for the first time for real here in 2020. Well, the date is July 24th. So let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And it's a good one. Fletcher, tough out, leads things off. Then Trout, Ohtani, and Upton. La Stella was an all-star last year. Pujols, we know all about him. Castro, a new Angel. Simmons and Goodwin. That's the starting lineup for the Angels tonight.
And for Frankie Montas last September against these Angels, and tonight's starting pitcher Andrew Heaney, he started for the Angels in that game. Frankie, with the 80-game suspension last year, came back very strongly in September, and I think he was motivated by that going into the offseason, and this unfortunate delay for this season began. Looking forward to tonight's start. Quite an accomplishment for him, and you can almost compare it a little bit to Liam Hendricks, who was DFA'd by the Athletics, came back and now is the closer for the A's. Frankie Montas gets the opening start tonight, and he has the stuff to be able to do it.
Defensive lead for the Athletics. They'll have Mark Canha in left, Ramon Laureano in center, and Stephen Piscotty in right. Terrific infield with Chapman at third, Simeon at short, Chad Pinder at second, Matt Olson at first, and the rookie Sean Murphy is your catcher. So Sean Murphy, 20 games last year, penciled in as the everyday catcher this year. So we're looking forward to seeing what Murphy can do each and every day. We know what this infield can do, and it's a good one. Chad Pinder getting the start at second base. Marcus Simeon, he said, you know, no fans, but I got a cardboard cutout of my wife and my 2 kids over by the A's dugout. So at least once in a while they can look over there and say hi to them. So we're set to go as David Fletcher, the third baseman, steps in to lead things off for the Angels as we are set to roll from the Coliseum. Fletcher, Trout, and Ohtani. Fletcher playing third base. Of course, Anthony Rendon, the big free agent signing for the Angels, a little bit banged up. He is not in the lineup tonight, but the Angels expect that he probably will play at some point in this 4-game series. Brian Knight calling balls and strikes. He's the crew chief. Mike Malinsky, Tom Woodring, and Adam Hamari round out the umpiring crew for tonight. 1-1 to Fletcher. Fletcher bounces all over the diamond, a very valuable player for the Angels. And always a good guy to get out with Trout and the on-deck.
Well, he kind of sets the table. A very tough guy to strike out.
Yeah, he is as pesky of an at-bat as there is in the American League. Dallas, this is the guy that drives you crazy for a pitcher.
Well, he's one of those guys, you nailed it, boss, table setter, spark plug, and he kind of reminds me of a guy I had to battle frequently, Sean Figgins, at the top of this lineup as well. Pesky is right. He is not an easy out.
And he is there. He does not strike out very much, but he does there, chases a pitch way out of the strike zone.
That's the split.
Well, this is what you want to see from Frankie Montas, and I talked about it a little earlier today. He gets to 2 strikes, and he is pedal to the metal. He's looking to punch you out and put you away, and that's exactly what he does with Fletcher here. Dials up that split. Thanks for coming out.
Well, if he can do it in 4 pitches like he just did, that's exceptional, especially for somebody like Fletcher, who normally does make contact. This guy, who is at the plate now, makes a lot of contact.
His name is Mike Trout, and he is the reigning MVP in the American League. Won it for the 3rd time.
You know, the A's have a lot of depth in their starting rotation. They have a lot of guys who could have been on the mound tonight for this first game.
And Trout gets hit.
But I still think that if you're looking at someone who has the velocity, I don't care how many sim games and inter-squad games you play, you miss 4 months. That ball, there's the padding that Mike Trout has. And still, you know, upper 90s fastball, still going to have some sting to it, but the extra padding helps. The extension on his helmet helps, and the mask helps. But I think the velocity that Frankie Montas possesses, in addition to the split as Dallas talked about, to put away David Fletcher, that is a nice arsenal to have. Of course, the hard slider he threw also in the at-bat to Fletcher.
Swing and a miss by Shohei Ohtani, the designated hitter.
And you can see early on from Montas, he's got some good life to the arm side on that fastball. You saw the previous one run in and clip Trout on the elbow there, but early on, up right now, but he's got some good east to west going.
Upton to follow in this Angels lineup. It's a good lineup, and you put Rendon in there, it'll be even better. Average fastball velocity for Frankie Montas last year, 96.6.
Coming out of this 4-month hiatus, I think Frankie Montas, the way he is throwing, or was throwing during that period of time, I don't think you're looking at 50 to 60, 70 pitches. You're probably looking 80 to 100 from him, with his ability to stay strong all the way to the end.
Yeah, I think that alone is one of the reasons why Bob Melvin gave him the ball tonight to start the season. 2-1 to Ohtani. Lays off. Ohtani last year, 286, 18 homers, 62 runs batted, and he did that in 106 games.
As I think one of the amazing things about Ohtani, the defense shows it. Straight up defense all the way around, infield and outfield. No shift, because he does use the whole field. Drives the ball to the opposite field extremely well. And there it is. Your infield, you see the outfield straight up. And that's a credit to Ohtani and his ability to use the whole field.
He was tough on the A's last year. He hit 5 home runs against the Athletics last year. But the Angels will need all the offense they can get. The question mark is pitching. They have added some starters, but they're going to need this offense to score a bunch of runs, and it has a chance to do that.
Well, that man there, Joe Madden, their first-year manager, of course, bench coach for Mike Scioscia, is going to be very good for this ball club.
3-1 pitch, loop to center. That's going to be a base hit. So Trout to second, stops there. May have broke his bat, but Ohtani will take it. And the Angels have something going against Montas here in the first inning.
Well, 3-1, got himself in a fastball count, and that's exactly what he gets. A heater up, catches more of the plate than he'd probably like to. And Foss, to your point, Ohtani, though it's off the cap, going to use the whole field. That's an opportunity for Ohtani maybe to get a little bigger than he'd like to early in the game, trying to do some damage, but instead takes what's given to him, shoots it right back up the middle.
Well, you see the difference also in David Fletcher. 1-2 count, struck him out with a splitter, hit Mike Trout, goes to 3-1 with Ohtani, gets the fastball. So, Dallas, to your point about trying to get ahead and then go to his outstanding split finger fastball is the key for him, especially against this good hitting lineup.
Upton banged up last year. Played in just 63 games.
And then you insert him in, well, a full season this year would be 60, but he's a difference maker in this club because he was out a lot last year. He, like Ohtani, uses the whole field.
Upton last year hurt his toe in one of those exhibition games against the Dodgers right before the season was going to start. And he was out for a long time, and I'm not sure he was ever really 100%.
No, usually when you come back like that, you're not. Try to hurry up and get back to justify being in the lineup, being on the team, and a lot of times we saw it with Chris Davis last year when he banged into the wall in Pittsburgh.
Two and one now to Upton. Tommy La Stella, a left-handed hitter, waits in the on-deck circle.
Not often you see Albert Pujols hitting sixth in the lineup.
Pinder trying to keep Trout a little bit close. That one missed somewhere. Could have been called a strike, but wasn't. Now it's 3-1. So, well, Dallas, the difference between 2-2 and 3-1. Do I even need to explain it?
Not really. It's advantage hitter here. He can really pick his poison, if you will. It's what they call zoning a pitcher up. Upton's looking in one spot right now. And for Frankie Montas, he's got to navigate that rough water here.
And he was evidently not looking for a slider to 2-1 count, which he got and was a very good pitch. Could have been called, or probably should have been called a strike. That gets a ground ball, get out of the inning.
And he went around. He may have chased ball 4.
Well, that's called sitting dead red, and I'm going to swing at really whatever you throw. And fastball, Upton opened up and tried to hold up his swing, but realized the ball was out of the strike zone and just kind of half swung, but clearly out of the strike zone.
See what the runners do. Good speed with Trout and Ohtani. They are not going anywhere, and the ball's popped up into the seats.
Well, that usually says right there that Joe Madden is concerned that Upton's a strikeout victim, and it'd be a strikeout, throw him out, even with the good speed on the base paths. At least on that pitch, he did not have the 2 runners on the move on the 3-2.
Another 3-2 to Justin Upton. Runner staying put. Yeah. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. So Montas comes back, makes a couple of big pitches, and he strikes out Upton.
This is a heck of a job by Frankie to come on back into the count. Doesn't get the love on the slider. He goes ahead and doubles it up, little front door piece here, and turns Upton into a window shopper.
Yeah, front door slider was an outstanding pitch, and of course, typically a slider you expect it as a right-handed hitter to be away from you. Of course, Mariano Rivera, the Hall of Famer, he had the cutter that he could start front door and get a lot of hitters out.
Here's La Stella. Tommy La Stella was an all-star last year. How about that?
Yeah.
16 homers, 44 RBIs, but most of those numbers came right before the All-Star game. He ended up getting hurt right before the All-Star game, so did not participate in the game, but had a great first half. In fact, he fouled the ball off his shin and broke his leg. Yep. Early July.
I like Jermaine Dye.
So kind of always been a pretty good bench player, but he got an opportunity last year and he made the most of it. He can bounce around the diamond a little bit as well defensively, so valuable. Did he go? No. And now it's 3-0 with Albert Pujols looming in the on-deck circle.
Not the man you want to come up in a RBI situation. Bases loaded even with 2 outs. And also La Stella, not the guy you want to just say, here it is, I don't want to pitch to Albert.
22nd pitch of the inning for Montas. Here it is. And it's in for a strike. Eased in at 97 miles an hour.
I like that ease.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was, just in case. Pretty good location also on the inside part of the plate.
What I wouldn't give to just back it off to 95.
And that one misses well off the plate inside. So the bases are loaded. A hit batter, a single, and now a 2-out walk. And here is Albert Pujols.
That's a big inning for Frankie Montas. He's still a very young pitcher, but to get through this first inning would be huge for him. And he's got to face a future Hall of Famer, someone who uses the whole field as well as anybody, especially in an RBI situation. You make a mistake, he can go deep, but you see the outfield, the infield, they will play him straight up just like anybody. And that is because Albert Pujols is a run producer.
Good year last year, 23 homers and 93 RBIs. And to say that he's sitting in elite company with his 656 home runs, well, that's just silly. He's 6th on the all-time list behind Bonds, Aaron, Ruth, Rodriguez, and Mays. 4 home runs behind Willie Mays.
There's that good east to west movement we were talking about. Some good late life, some good sink. The machine unable to barrel it up. It's a big pitch here for Frankie, 1-1. He does a good job of converting. Typically 63% of the time he gets to 1-2.
Tapped foul, and now he's ahead in the count, 1-2.
But a couple of things here. We saw the splitter thrown to David Fletcher. Seems like a long time ago, which is leadoff hitter. But the splitter thrown hard, this is where Sean Murphy does a good job. And he has to, because you don't want to take that pitch away from Frankie Montas in this particular situation. Basically, this is where catcher was put down the side. He said, basically, I will call it, I will catch it, I will block it, you throw it and let it go. And that's what he did to David Fletcher, and he has to do the same thing to Albert Pujols if he does throw that pitch.
Deep breath by Frankie Montas. Kicks and deals. And almost chased it, but Pujols holds up. So now the count is even at 2-2. And Dallas, what do they call it? The 2-2. It's kind of the go-go pitch, right?
Well, that's right. This is this is where we're going to have action here. If you're Frankie Montas, you'd love to be able to compete in the strike zone, but you also don't want to give Albert something big to hit, because he's a guy who obviously can cut down the swing, take what's given to him, and do damage here with the bags full.
Swing and a miss, struck him out on a high fastball, and it looked like Pujols may have chased ball 3. So Frankie Montas has to work a little extra hard, but the Angels leave them loaded in the top of the first. When we come back, the A's come to bat. No score.
Brought to you by Provident Credit Union Super Reward Checking. We pay you.
No score, bottom of the first inning. Let's check out the lineup for the Oakland Athletics. And here it is. It's a good one. Simeon, Laureano, Chapman, Davis, Olson, Pinder, Canna, Piscotti, and Murphy. And they will face the left-hander Andrew Heaney, making his first career opening day start, facing Simeon, and the first pitch in there for strike. Simeon, Laureano, and Chapman here in the bottom of the first. Behind second base, La Stella backing up. He's got it.
Now for Andrew Heaney, as Kai mentioned, getting the start tonight. Not really overpowered with a fastball. Typical left-hander. Does not throw as hard as our good friend Dallas Braden did when he played, but the fastball, low 90s. You know, sinking action, of course, typical for a left-handed pitcher. He's got also a curveball and a changeup, but from his standpoint, last year facing the Athletics, we mentioned a couple of times he had a loss and he had a no decision when he went against Frankie Montas late September.
If Andrew Heaney can stay healthy, he's a pretty good pitcher, but last year, a couple stints on the disabled list. He started the season on the disabled list. It was left elbow, and then later on in the year, left shoulder.
That's why the A's only saw him a couple of times, but
so 18 starts total last year for Heaney. The year before that, 2018, he was healthy. He made 30 starts. Overall, his 5th year in the big leagues, he has a career record of 20 and 26.
And he has a good catcher, Jason Castro, the veteran from the Bay Area, behind the plate. The Twins, of course, the Astros before that. That is a huge help for a pitching staff.
2-2 to Ramon Laureano. Laureano hitting in the second spot tonight, and it's possible that Bob Melvin may be thinking about using Laureano in the second spot when a left-hander is starting. Inside corner, strike 3 call. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Defensively for the Angels, it'll be Upton in left, Trout in center, Brian Goodwin is in right, Fletcher at third, Simmons at short, La Stella at second, Pujols at first, and the aforementioned Jason Castro behind the plate. Probably spent his childhood here at the Coliseum. Grew up in Castro Valley.
But if you're a hitter and can actually see the catcher move, Castro moved outside on the 3-2 pitch to Laureano, and it came back over the middle part of the plate towards the inside part, and that's what fooled Laureano. Of course, 3-2 fastball should never be taken as a third strike anyway, but it was. It's kind of hard to think about that. Not a good time to guess, not that he was, just a pretty good pitch by Heaney. Location-wise, anyway.
Chapman a shot toward third, right into the glove of Fletcher. Side is retired. 3 up, 3 down inning for Andrew Heaney. No score after 1. Back to our authentic A's fans who are all huddled up in front of their TVs at home. Thanks for watching us. This group's fired up on our authentic fan cam. That's right, they are ready to go. They've been waiting for this for a while. So have we. So has everybody. And we certainly hope that, and there's a lot going on right now, certainly hope that people can sit back and enjoy big league baseball at home, maybe put a smile on their face for 3 hours or so. Let's hope so.
I just got a big smile on my face when I saw the authentic orange baseball from Charles O. Finley.
That's right. That was not a great idea by Charlie O, but he did have some good idea. That one did not go over that well.
No. Just a little bit too slippery.
Castro, Simmons, Goodwin, the bottom 3 in the order for the Angels against Frankie Montas, who A 28-pitch first inning. So 1-2. Of course, no fans in the stands, but lots of cutouts. The A's have done a great job filling in the seats with fans. Some we know, some we don't know. The big A's here. Ray's friend Charlie O is here.
Yeah.
Charlie O had a better room at the New York hotel than Ray did in the World Series.
Americana Hotel.
Unbelievable.
Had his own stable in the lobby of the Americana Hotel.
2-2 the count to Jason Castro.
Sir Tom Hanks doing some peanut yelling.
Swing and a miss on a high fastball. 4 strikeouts for Frankie Montas. And yeah, that was Tom Hanks. You heard him. He's selling hot dogs. He's selling peanuts. He's selling popcorn. Just like he did when he was a kid here at the Coliseum.
19 years young. Joe DiMaggio. Joe Rudy gives him a lot of credit for making him a very good outfielder. Crazy George, that was Coco Crisp and the Bernie Lane before him.
See, there's Tom Hanks. Seeing if anybody in Diamond Level's interested.
I tell you, Crazy George is just an icon of baseball in Northern California, maybe everywhere, really. I can remember going to Stockton Ports games as a youngster and watching Crazy George bang around and make all kind of noise, and now you show up here in Oakland and the man is still a legend.
The drum that he uses now is the same one he used in the 70s.
Guaranteed.
It's the same T-shirt, too.
2-1 to Andrelton Simmons.
Do we have the banjo man in the house? Because, you know, talk about somebody's a fixture.
That's a good point, Foss.
Simmons bounces it foul, so the count even at 2-2. If you're joining us, the Angels loaded the bases in the first inning, but Montas worked his way out of it. Going to settle in a little bit here in the second inning. Opening night at the Coliseum between the A's and the Angels. It is the first of a 4-game series. In fact, 3 straight day games after tonight. Saturday, Sunday, and then a Monday day game. It's a quirky schedule, folks. Yeah. Hit toward the gap in left center, but it'll hang up for Canna, and he's got it. So 2 away here in the top of the second inning. The A's will stay home after the Angels leave, and they will play the Colorado Rockies on Tuesday and Wednesday. Remember, the A's are playing just teams from the West, the AL West and the NL West. So a regionalized schedule. A little less traveling is the reason for that. A's will be in Seattle next weekend for a 4-game series. Want to know to Brian Goodwin, hitting in the 9th spot. So this is stretching out the schedule a little bit. A lot of home games early. A's have 12 of their first 16 at home, and then they got a road trip to the Angels, to the Giants, to the Diamondbacks. So a 3-city trip, but you're coming home right in the middle of it. So a lot of home games early. And as we've talked a lot about, you want to get off to a good start. And that's a swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
Now for Frankie Montas, he had a lot of pitches in the first inning, but seems to have settled down in this inning, although pitch count still rising very quickly. Needs some quick outs.
And that's another strikeout. Good inning for Frankie Montas. He's got 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. Chris Davis to lead it off when we come back.
Baseball is back. Presented by Taco Bell.
No score, bottom of the second inning, and a beautiful night here in East Bay. Andrew Heaney had a 3-up, 3-down, 11-pitch first inning. Jumps ahead of Chris Davis. Davis, Olson, and Pinder. .23 homers, 73 RBIs last year for Chris Davis.
Chris could get off to the early great start that he had last year. That would be wonderful for the Athletics. And then unfortunately some injuries caused them to tail off towards the middle and the end.
Mighty swing and a miss, 1-2.
And you know, Foss, I don't think that's something that people are really giving enough attention to. You talk about KD, this is a guy who's going to fight his way into the lineup each and every day. And at times when guys aren't at their best, you can start to fall into bad habits. You can start to adjust in an effort to try to keep yourself in the lineup, and that can
hit well to center. Trout deep right center, but he's going to have just enough room, couple steps onto the warning track, and he makes the catch.
Vince, here's a great way to give back this season and add to your collection of A's memorabilia. The Oakland A's Community Fund will host online auctions throughout the season where you can bid on unique A's items like baseballs, bats, and more, with proceeds benefiting the Oakland A's Community Fund. Visit athletics.com/community for more information on the A's online auctions. That's athletics.com/community.
So 1 away, here's Matt Olson. Olson hitting in the 5th spot tonight. He's the only left-handed hitter in this A's lineup against Heaney.
And that is not surprising. Matt Olson usually is in the lineup every day, and I still think it's tough on a lefty. You see all righties, 8 of them, and then here comes a lefty right in the middle.
36 homers, 91 RBIs last year for Olson. Surprised with the shift on. He bunted for a hit in one of the exhibition games. The Giants had a big shift on. In fact, they had 4 outfielders against Olson. He had 5 of those bunt hits last year, so he'll do it again this year, I'm sure, a little bit. 2-2 the count. Now they're shifting back, and Fletcher, the third baseman, is going to head all the way over to his third base spot, actually more of a shortstop spot. The 2-strike shift on Olson. Close pitch. Pitcher catcher thought it was a strike. Brian Knight said no, it's not.
Likes the slider here, just down. Not out. Good job by Castro trying to get around it and bring it back up.
That one is drilled down the right field line, but it is just fine. Not by much. So 36 home runs for Olson. Where did they go? We're going to show them to you. It's good stuff here.
Yeah.
And what it tells you is, listen, he's a big, strong guy. He's going to pull a lot of them, but he does not have a problem hitting the ball out center toward left field. That is not an issue. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Strikes out there for the second out.
Well, after pulling the ball foul, Heaney comes right back at him, and see the ball spinning a little bit up in the zone. Matt Olson tried to bring his hands in, maybe not really thinking as a strike or not. Might have been out of the strike zone, but did not want to take a chance of putting it in the hands of Brian Knight. You know what I noticed about the StatCast with Matt Olson's home runs? It's like there's 55,000 people in the stands.
There was. It was a big night when he hit all those home runs.
Yeah, Mount Davis was open and filled, and the upper deck around the stadium. So what a night to hit all those home runs in one night. See all those people.
2-0 to Chad Pinder. Spring training 2.0 or summer camp, whatever you want to call it. Bob Melvin said Chad Pinder seems like he gets a hit every time in the inter squad games, sim games, and one of the reasons why he's in there tonight. This one is going to be caught by Goodwin, runs into Tommy La Stella. Trout says, no, we're good. We're good. Can't do that. Seems like everybody's okay, and that's good news. And that's 6 up, 6 down for Andrew Heaney. Watch for free. Upgrade for more. PeacockTV.com. No score, top of the third inning. Frankie Montas back to work against the top of this Angels order. First pitch to Fletcher is a strike. Fletcher struck out in the first inning. Fletcher striking out is a story in itself. Second hardest player to strike out in the majors last year. Struck out once every 10.2 plate appearances.
Does he get another splitter? Fastball in.
Slowly hit. Marcus charges, flips to first, 1 away. Well, not surprisingly, Frankie Montas making his first opening night start. Maybe the first inning. I'm not saying jitters. It just maybe takes a little while, right? And had the bases loaded, got out of it. But since the walk to La Stella with 2 outs in the first, he's retired 5 in a row with 3 strikeouts. So maybe settling in just a little bit.
No, I think 28 pitches in the first inning, whereas Andrew Heaney has yet to throw that many pitches. But that's one of the things about starting at home or being a starter for the first time, opening night or opening day, or July the 24th. Still an opener, and as much as you want to think it's just another start, it's not.
Shot to right and a hit for Trout. So Trout hit by a pitch in the first. Lines a 1-out single here in the third.
Well, and unfortunately for Frankie Montas, he was working from behind against Trout. Didn't get the call on the first pitch strike, or that should have been, and he's got to come back into the zone against a very dangerous man in Mike Trout. And Trout just doing a great job of staying inside. Good piece of hitting.
See the veteran Brian Butterfield, third base coach. He was with Joe Madden in Chicago. Of course, with the Red Sox as well. Great infield coach. He was very instrumental in the success of one Derek Jeter. And I asked him last year in Chicago, I said, "You're going to take time off when Jeter goes in the Hall of Fame?" Well, of course, that was next, supposed to be at the end of this month. But he was thinking about it anyway.
Yeah, he's been around, huh, Brian?
Yeah, he's been very good, too. Excellent third base coach. Not surprised that Joe Madden brought him with them from Chicago.
Well, Joe Madden, it just seems like he's in the right spot. Not that he wasn't in Chicago or in Tampa Bay, but he was part of this organization for 30 years as a player, a scout, a manager in the minor leagues, just about everything. He was on the staff when they won the World Series in 2002. And now he's back as the manager. You're almost not surprised that he ended up back in the Angels organization.
Well, especially after the success he had in both Tampa Bay and Chicago. And then to come back, and you know, the Angels need somebody Mike Scioscia did an excellent job for many, many years as a manager, and Joe Madden was his bench coach.
0-2 to Ohtani. Simeon's got it. Flips to second for one. On to first. Not in time. And it's a fielder's choice for Ohtani. Ball was not hit real hard.
Yeah, at times it's kind of like Ichiro out of the box as soon as he swings, and very difficult hitter to double up, especially from the left side. And you're right, not that hard, but Semien Pinder played it as well as you could. Nice feed to Chad Pinder, foot on the bag. Mike Trout, nothing he could do. But Ohtani just too fast.
Two outs for Upton. Pop-up foul. You know, Joe Madden is one of 10 new managers this year. Seems like a lot. Yeah, 10 of them.
There's
got a list of them here somewhere.
Derek Shelton for sure in Pittsburgh. His first ever opportunity. He was a bench coach in Minnesota last year under Rocco Baldelli, who last year was a first-year manager.
Okay, here they are. Renicky in Boston, Baker in Houston, Matheny in Kansas City, Joe Madden here, Ross in Chicago, Rojas in New York with the Mets, Girardi in Philadelphia, Shelton in Pittsburgh, Tinsley in San Diego, and Kapler in San Francisco. 10 new managers around Major League Baseball. More action for Marcus Semien. On the first side, retired to hit and a runner left. We are headed to the bottom of the third. Mark Canha's going to lead it off. During pregame ceremonies and as we make our official return to baseball tonight, some players from each team showing support in the Black Lives Matter movement to eradicate systemic racism and the unnecessary use of force against black people in policing. So, nicely done by both teams and the A's organization before the game tonight. Mark Canha leads things off. Canha, Piscotty, and Murphy here in the bottom of the third. No score. 6 up, 6 down for Andrew Heaney. Pop up. Down the left field line. Very high. And it's going to be Fletcher, the third baseman, who settles underneath it. Now, the Oakland A's released a statement today. Goes like this: as the players and staff of the Oakland A's, we are proud to support our black teammates and other black players across the game by participating in MLB's opening night activities. As a team, we believe Black Lives Matter, and we are committed to supporting racial justice in this country. That was from the Oakland A's players and staff. So one away here in the bottom of the third. I was trying to figure out Andrew Heaney.
Yeah, Kaff, if you think back to the wild card game last October and the 2 exhibition games against the Giants, 3 games, the A's offense really has kind of been dormant.
A little bit, yeah.
And so that's why pitching is so important, because you at least can stay in the game with excellent pitching and defense and not have to score that many runs. And today, watching a little bit of the Mets game, it was former Athletic Yoenis Cespedes hitting a monstrous home run, his first in 2 years.
That was the only run in the game.
Yeah. And it was not a cheap home run either.
No.
I mean, he crushed it.
1-0. The Mets won over the Braves. Watch some of that.
Yeah, and the Braves were without their 2 catchers.
Yep.
Dorno and Tyler Flowers, on the shelf. Jacob deGrom was absolutely dominant.
He's unbelievable.
What a shock, huh?
Oh.
He's pretty good.
Well, getting Cespedes back, if they can keep him off his horses.
Well, he, you know, and I watched some of the game too, and he looks a little bigger.
Yes, he does. Yes,
but the bat speed has not slowed down.
And he got a chance to extend those powerful arms, and it was a no-doubter.
And listen, he made, I mean, we got a soft spot for the guy, right? Yeah. But he could DH for a while, I think.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, those feet will hold up just fine if he's only making 3 left turns every now and then.
I agree. I think he's got quality DH written all over him for a while. Has not stayed healthy at all the last couple of years.
Well, this 4 months of inactivity probably helped him, because he at least agreed to a reduction in his salary.
Shallow right. Coming in is Brian Goodwin. 2 away. So the other night when we were doing the game, it was Monday night, we had some fun, but now that we're playing for serious and the games mean something, I wanted to throw those records out there again, Ray, because I thought it was fun. The equivalent of a 162 game season. If the A's go 37-23 this year, that'll be the equivalent to going 162. So you win 100 games, that's a heck of a year. So keep that number in mind. If a team gets to 36, 37, 38 wins this year, that's going to be a lot. So there's your number to shoot for if you're the Athletics, or really if you're any one of the top teams. You win somewhere between 35 and 40. You're going to be just fine.
We see a 162 game schedule in 6 months go very quickly. What do you think 60 games in 2 months is going to do?
Yep.
Don't blink.
Yep, that's exactly right. Outside, and now it's 2-2.
The key for the A's right now is to get Andrew Heaney to pitch out of the stretch, because he's got a modified windup, but he has not been out of the stretch in this game.
Pitch number 39 coming up, and it's a good take by Murphy.
Well, what Heaney's done a great job of this evening is his misses are not egregious. He's around the strike zone. He's able to work off of the competitive misses, set the next pitch up, and he's done a good job of kind of forcing the action thus far.
Pop up, it'll reach the seats. So you start thinking about 60 game stretches, right? That's how many games we're going to play this year. These are the best 60 game stretches in Oakland history. 2001, 48-12. Of course, they had a little win streak there that helped. 2005, 45-15. 44-16, 2018. We remember that. Any one of those will do this year just fine, and it'll get you first place in the American League West. 9 up, 9 down for Heaney. Taco Bell, indeed it is. Ray Fosse, Dallas Braden, Glenn Kuiper at the Coliseum. Hope you're enjoying our telecast. We will be televising 58 of the 60 games for the A's this year. The 2 that we are not televising will be nationally televised games. So we hope you're not sick of us by September.
Of course not.
I don't think they will be. Tommy La Stella leading it off. There's a final. You know me, I love my finals. Texas 1, Colorado nothing. Got to keep a close eye on what is going on, man. Every game counts for 2.5. Yeah. Lance Lynn went 6 innings, gave up 2 hits and no runs, and he got the win. So the Texas Rangers playing in their new ballpark, they shut out the Rockies 1-0. Rockies with just 3 hits.
I think pitching's not dominating baseball.
La Stella is retired.
The fans throughout the season, A's fans will be part of the action with our Coliseum Cutout program. Fans will be able to purchase a cutout with proceeds benefiting key charities and initiatives important to our community. Learn more about the program at athletics.com/cutouts. You know, one of the things that a starting pitcher on opening night, and they always say, well, he's going to be facing usually the ace of the staff of the team that he's facing, and he's going to every time because of the way the rotation sets up. And usually pitchers say they don't really concern themselves with that. But one thing they need to concern themselves about is that pitcher is usually pretty good, and he's going to shut down your offense, or at least offense might have a tough time. So in that respect, it is important, in this case for Frankie Montas, to continue to do what he's done in this game so far, and that is allow just a couple of hits and no runs. But I think hitting is going to be a little bit slow. Pitchers typically in spring training, and I think we're going to see it and have already seen it in this early part of the beginning of this season.
Well, I tell you, it's kind of gone both ways, but Frankie Montas and Andrew Heaney both have had some calls that have not gone their way.
Yeah.
And now it's 3-1.
Can Brian Knight hear you?
I hope not.
Yeah, you better behave yourself down there, Dallas. So Pujols with the 1-out walk. That's the second walk issued by Frankie Montas. He struck out 5.
Number 16.
And here
Jason
comes Castro.
Castro.
So the rosters are at 30 for every team. For the A's, not really any surprises. Carrying 15 pitchers. I think the Angels are carrying 16 pitchers. Those rosters will have to be trimmed down to 28 after 2 weeks, and then down to 26 after the next 2 weeks. And that 26 will be the number that you'll have to be at for the entire month of September. So most teams carrying really extra pitchers for the first couple weeks.
Well, that makes total sense. If you have a starter who might unfortunately go out there and run into some trouble early on, the bullpen gets taxed and you're behind the 8 ball very early. And I think everybody across the league can acknowledge that, especially with the circumstances everybody's playing under.
Well, also an interesting part of the roster situation is each team has a taxi squad, which is 3 players, and those 3 players will travel with the team on road trips. And the reason is if a player is needed because one of the guys in the 30-man roster gets injured or something like that, you want that guy to be there, and it's all about trying to minimize travel. And it's Jonah Heim, who's a catcher, Lucas Luetke, a left-handed pitcher, and Nate Orff, a utility player. Those are the 3 guys on the A's taxi squad.
And the other 27 would be in San Jose. I guess of the available players, although like you mentioned, those 3 that were on the taxi will not have to travel. They could be with the club.
There's the walk, but the big news today, and I'm dying to talk to you guys about this. New playoff format, 16 teams, 8 from each league. It breaks down 4 rounds. That's normal. Top 3 seeds go as the 3 division winners. The next 3 seeds are the second place finishers, 4, 5, and 6. And then the final 2 seeds, 7 and 8, will go to the 2 teams with the next best records. Interesting. So if you win the division or finish in second place, guaranteed a spot. And it'll be 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, and 4 versus 5 in that first round, which is called the wild card round. And those matchups will be best of 3. What do you guys think, Dallas? Now remember, it's just this year.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not. But I mean,
we can call that a starting point, Boss. I think that's fair to say. I think what what should happen is fans should wrap their head around exactly what we're dealing with as a sport and the effort to try to bring exactly what we've been missing, which is more baseball, but it's also understanding that we are playing under very, very different circumstances, under a very different time. And in an effort to try to bring some semblance of normalcy and keep everybody's attention on what we've got going on here, you kind of open it up and see what that can do for the sport. And I think in a 60-game season, that offers the opportunity to kind of, see what can come of some of these rules that are put in place.
Well, and I think too, I mean, I like the idea for this year, but I don't think you'll really be able to give a full opinion on it till it happens to see what it's all about. I think that first week could be super exciting when you're sitting there watching 8 3-game series for 3 or 4 days. That's got a chance to be enjoyable baseball and pretty intense.
And the amazing thing is that nothing of this new format is going to delay the season.
Nope.
It's going to finish at the same time.
Good call.
And that probably the thing that, if you're the number 1 seed and you're playing the number 8, figuring you're better than the number 8, that number 8 gets hot, you're gone.
Absolutely.
As a number 1, and that's what can happen in the format. But if it is just this year, but I think it's going to expand in the future or continue because of the television revenue that's going to be generated from that for both the players and the owners. Assuming you get fans back in the stands, you get the television revenue, and everybody's going to benefit from it.
2-2 to Andrelton Simmons. Pop up. It's going to be a long run for everybody involved. Olson cannot quite get it. Well, I was reading about this, and I saw something that to me was not the most interesting of it, but I found it to be interesting. All ties will be resolved mathematically. No additional games will be played to break any ties. How about that?
That is amazing.
So there'll be no tiebreaker games on the Monday after. There's going to be a series of tiebreakers that, there may be 4, 5, 6 down the list, and you may have to use them all, because I think there's going to be some teams that finished with the same record. But I thought that was interesting.
How are we going to settle that? The team that sells the most cardboard cutouts ends up getting the nod?
I'm telling you, you're going to get down to tiebreaker number 6 or 7, and who knows what it's going to be. Could be total runs scored.
But one thing I worry about, should this find its way into the next CBA, is watering down the product, because you talk about earning the right to get to the postseason. 162 games represents a gauntlet of sorts, a grind where a team has to rise to the top. A team has to navigate through injuries, player movement, all the sort, and find themselves at the end of that race. And there's a lot of pride that goes into that.
Hit pretty well. Laureano backs up. We'll see if Pujols goes, and of course he does not. There's Laureano showing off the laser. So a long battle there. Montas ends up getting Simmons, and that is the second out.
But something else to think about is that CBA that we're kind of hinting at, Foss, could very well see, if not this time around, very soon, in my opinion, an expansion of the league, meaning we might see a couple more teams. So this early format that adds a couple teams to the playoff format could very well see itself expand and kind of shake out to where we're at prior to this new format. So you add 32 teams, the 2 teams that have now been added to the postseason kind of evens out.
That's your 8 4-team divisions.
Well, and ultimately, really, in any sports league, 32 is the real number you want to get to. It's just it's the most even number.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's coming, Dallas. I could see expansion sometime next 7 or 8 years. It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, you figure that's 52 more major league jobs.
Yep.
And of course, that's just a matter of how much it is diluted as far as the I'm sure they would have to have the expansion drafts like they normally do, but we'll see. Have to find a couple of cities first.
I tell you, they got shovels in the ground in Montreal right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're starting to hear Nashville come into play, which is very interesting.
Yeah, Tony Russo and Dave Stewart. Yeah. A couple of Athletics.
Swing and a miss on 3-0. Now it's 3-1.
That is not surprising. I think Joe Madden is trying to get some offense generated, and with 2 outs, 3-0 fastball for Frankie Montas. Got a little bit extra on it though, and maybe Goodwin just tried to do a little bit too much with the fastball down the middle.
There's a line drive right field, and that's going to fall in for a hit. Pujols rounds third. Pujols is going to head home, and he will score now. They're going to have Goodwin in a rundown. A's are going to have to handle this. They throw home, and the tag will be put on by Murphy, and that will do it. Castro out at home, but the Angels get a run on Goodwin's RBI single. So, bottom of the 4th coming up. 1-0 Angels. Games on NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the My Teams app. Brought to you by your NorCal Honda dealers. Rickey Henderson Field here at the Coliseum. Ricky's in the house. That's a young Rickey Henderson. Back when he was stealing 130 bases.
That could be Ricky right now, still wanting to play.
1-0 Angels lead. Andrew Heaney's been very good. 9 up, 9 down with 3 strikeouts. Marcus Semien, good swing in the first pitch.
That was the deal they had to make with Ricky. Ricky, we're going to put your name on the field, so you quit trying to get back out on the field.
Ricky maybe think, hey, 30-man rosters.
You
know, hey, listen, you extra innings, start a guy at second base. Who's better for that than me? Could steal third. Did he go? Yes, he did, and Marcus knew it. Strikeout number 4 for Heaney. They do.
Number 22.
Well, we talked about Heaney doing a great job of just filling the strike zone up and really forcing the action. And there's that slider down. And this is about location. It's plated. It's not necessarily back-footed, so it looks appetizing, but it just falls out right at the dish, and Semien unable to get to it.
A little bit outside to Ramon Laureano, who struck out looking back in the first inning. Astros leading the Mariners 7-2. That game in the bottom of the 7th inning down in Houston. Michael Brantley with a 3-run homer, and Verlander led the first 6 innings for Houston.
As we mentioned Monday, he used this time to get healthy. Ismael Petit, who was loosening top of the inning, is going to come in the 5th inning. Pitch count got to Frankie.
High and foul down past the Angels bullpen. So with Petit continuing to warm up, looks like Frankie Montas could be done for the night. Left field and deep. And that baby's gone. We're tied. But got out of here quickly, and the A's are on the board here in 2020.
We saw last year how quickly Laureano can turn on balls inside, flat-footed, breaking ball inside, coming in on him, and very quickly, no doubter, off the bat, left field, and it was not cheap. Very close to the second deck. If not, I think it might have gone to second deck. But that was supposed to be back foot probably, right, Dallas?
That one's hit well toward left center field, but Upton got a good jump and tracks it down.
Now, you are right, Foss. He had success against Simeon, like I said, plating that slider, so it was more middle instead of the back foot. There, they tried to go to the back foot against Laureano. It stays up, and he's able to drop the head on that bad boy, and it got out of here quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Frankie happy, he's off the hook.
Yep.
Pitchers like that. Now the first hit of the game, first hit of the season for the Athletics is the home run by Laureano.
Exit velocity 110.5.
It was yeah.
Exit velocity. We use that more and more now. And if you're at home going, well, what's good? Anything in the triple digits is right. I mean, that's really good. What was Stanton's the other day against Scherzer? It was like 117.
112.
Was it 112?
Yeah, 112.
So you start getting up in that area. That's really good. So there's your reference point.
Cespedes had to be up there today also with the ball he hit. But you know, the one thing I noticed about both Simeon and Laureano in their respective at-bats in this inning, neither one of them really left the batter's box after a pitch. They just kind of stayed in the box. And Simeon struck out, of course, on 3 pitches and a check swing. Laureano got in the hole, but on the 1-2, unloaded.
High fastball. Davis swings and misses, but the A's are on the board. Ramon Laureano, 24 home runs last year. He has his first this year, a solo shot to left. So we are 3-4 in the Coliseum. This is a 1-1 game. Keep an eye out for the Round Table Pizza home run target in left center field. Anytime the target gets hit by an A's player this season, you could win a free personal pizza courtesy of Round Table Pizza. Well, there's a lot of things we missed this year with having the building a little bit shut down, no fans. We missed the Round Table Pizza guy coming up here like 4 times a year with 5 or 6 pizzas. I missed that. I missed that a lot.
You love pizza.
Hey, when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Yusmeiro Petit comes in. 80 games last year. 5 wins, a very fine 2.71 ERA. The 80 games was the most in the American League. Fletcher up the middle, and the leadoff man's got a base hit.
Well, this is why he's at the top of the lineup. We've already talked about how difficult he is to get him to swing and miss. And he sets the table for the man behind him. He's not somebody who's going to try to get big, try to overpower you at the plate. He knows his strengths, and that's putting the barrel on the baseball. And this is exactly how they draw it up. David Fletcher leading it off, and now you've got this man to deal with.
That would be Trout hit by a pitch and a single.
And for Yusmeiro Petit, someone could give the Athletics some innings, assuming he does well. But the pitch he made to Fletcher, the 2 strikes, is not one that he'd like to make, which was elevated.
Well, and this is what Petit does so well. This is what Petit represents. A lot of teams, they have a bridge to their back into the bullpen. Petit represents that bridge all himself. Multiple innings, lefties, righties, doesn't matter. He can navigate it all.
When you lead the league in appearances, that is a big badge of honor. That's what Petit has. 80 games last year. Looking for a ground ball here.
It's sitting down in the bullpen. Petit's one of those guys, when the phone rings, you just kind of look down there and he knows. He's getting up and he's moving around. He can almost tell the difference between your ring and his ring.
This was the MVP season last year for Trout. 45 home runs, 104 RBIs, 291 batting average. So much more to him than just those numbers. His OPS was 1,083. His third MVP. One of my favorite graphics about Trout is the 3 MVPs, but what he has done in his other seasons. He has 4 second-place finishes, 3 first-place finishes, and a 4th-place finish. And the 4th-place finish was in 2017, and he was banged up that year, only played in 114 games.
Is that when he slid into second? Hurt his hand?
Hurt his hand. So 8 full years in the big leagues for Trout. 3 MVPs and 4 second-place finishes. This is his 9th full year in the big leagues.
And I always go back to, what was it, I think 13, when Miguel Cabrera wins the Triple Crown.
That's right. Trout strikes out there. You don't see him chase pitches in the dirt very often, but he did right there.
Well, this is a testament to what sort of deception Petit is able to create with his short arm stroke. You can see that getting on top of the breaker there. And out of the hand, Trout's got to make a decision. And it's a good job by Petit to expand the zone down on a guy who does a great job handling pitches down in the zone. A good job by Murph to body up and keep it in front. Keep that speedy Fletcher over at first.
So with 1 out, here's Ohtani. Keeping Fletcher close. Fletcher had 8 steals last year. Slowly hit. Simeon, he's going to flip to second to get the lead out. Ohtani very fast, so no chance there. 2 away.
Best thing on that play is that Petit did not put a glove on it. Just past him, he fell off and falls off towards the first base side. And for Marcus Simeon to quickly get it to second base to get the lead runner, keep him out of scoring position. Another ball towards the end of the bat, and you get Trout swinging on a pitch in the dirt, and then Ohtani off the end of the bat. That's pretty good. And Petit obviously making some adjustments after elevating a fastball to Fletcher 0-2 count to come back and get 2 very good hitters.
First pitch to Upton in first strike.
We were talking Monday night when Petit pitched in relief against the Giants, talked about his new setup, hide in the baseball, and had a chance to talk to Scott Emerson about that. And Petit thought he was tipping his pitches, and Emo said, I looked at everything, and he said, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't see anything that he was doing, but see how he has the ball. Really, maybe the deception occurs with that setup for him.
And that'll do it. So Yusmeiro Petit, a leadoff single, nothing else. Bottom of the 5th coming up. It'll be Olson, Pinder, and Canna. We got a 1-1 game. Now through August 3rd, customers can score free MLB TV at T-Mobile.com/MLB. That is not a real seagull, folks. They're not allowed in the ballpark either. And really, why would they come here? Because they really only here for one reason. That's the munchies. And well, there's no food.
You know, I looked at that for the longest time. I kept waiting for it to move. and you know, because
gotcha.
You could not see that it was a cutout. Looking at that shot, it looked like it. But earlier, when Tommy had it up, it just looked like he was there just waiting, all by himself.
Waiting for food.
Yeah.
He's going to sit like that for a long
time. Right.
Well, I think the real test will be tomorrow when the day game comes, and they're typically used to showing up right around the 7th inning, waiting for the place to clear out so they can get their grub on.
Yeah, they are not a happy group right now because, you know, they know the baseball schedule better than anybody. And here in the Bay Area, they can just go from one side of the bay to the other, get a good buffet. But that is not happening this year. 0-2 to Matt Olson, who struck out in the 2nd. Pinder to follow, and then Canna. Andrew Haney's been good. 5 strikeouts. He has not walked anybody. The one hit he has allowed was the Laureano home run. Noé Ramirez warming up. Ryan Buchter is in the Angels bullpen.
Yes, he is.
He's not warming up right now, but he's part of the Angels bullpen. Pitch number 60 coming up. Here it is. It's hit hard into right field, and that's a base hit. So the A's had their leadoff man aboard.
Well, good job by Ole to stick with it here. He shows bunt early on and then offers it a slider that he missed by a long shot, and he gets a fastball up. He's able to pull the hands in. We know how strong he is if he's able to get those arms extended. But on the flip side, he's able to pull those in, get the barrel to the ball, and get something going here in the 5th.
So Pinder steps up. Pinder takes a first pitch strike. Numbers last year for Pinder, so I'm sure he has forgot about that. Driven to right on the nose, but right into the glove of Goodwin. So that's a good sign for Pinder. Hit a ball like that the other way, but unfortunately it's an out.
A good swing by Chad Pinder. Good outfield play by Goodwin in right field, playing shallow with a right-handed hitter. But you're right. Pitch elevated. Instead of trying to pull it and hitting a ground ball, he goes the opposite field and taking a chance and hopeful of getting the ball into the gap or down the line. But that means he's staying back, which is always important for a hitter.
Here's Canna. Well, Pinder did something the other night in San Francisco that is, you just never see.
That's right.
A hitter do. A right-handed hitter. He hit a ball that, well, it was a home run. It was ruled a double. Yeah. Somehow replay review didn't see it that way. But anyways, you hit a ball out to right center at the Giants Park. It's quite a feat for a left-handed hitter.
That's right.
It's almost impossible for a right-handed hitter, and Pinder did it.
Oh, yeah.
And you just hardly ever see that.
Well, some would say he's one of the strongest, if not the strongest, on the team as far as when it comes to swinging the bat and ball jumping off his bat, the distance in which he hits the balls.
2-0 to Canna, sitting on a pitch or maybe a location. Foul back. Got a fastball out away, 90 miles an hour.
Well, guys, one thing to note about that ballpark across the bay is that lower right field section that is typically open up to the public has now been closed off. They have screens and they have netting up above that, or over it, excuse me, and that could prevent some of that wind flow, some of that circulation that would keep those balls in the park at times. That's now closed off. That ball might have a little more life on it these days.
Full shift on for Canna. 3 infielders on the left side. Straight away in the outfield. Canna would love to just roll one into right field.
Yeah.
Ramirez, the right-hander, just about ready. Olson with a short lead. And that is a foul tip. Swing and a miss. Canna's retired. 2 outs. Strikeout number 6 for Andrew Heaney.
Joe Madden going out to make a pitching change. As we take a look at a pitch that got in on the hands, and for Mark Canna, who had the count in his favor at 2-0, just could not handle the pitch up and in. Foul tipped it. Looking back, Castro did hang on to it.
So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Noé Ramirez is the new pitcher.
Number 24, Noé.
Each other and understanding each other. And I think when you're able to kneel, the conversation needs to start. And we can't just die down. We need to continue to hammer away the conversation so we can all get to love each other like we're supposed to.
Our new A's analyst, Dontrell Willis, is on Racing America tonight following A's postgame live. You do not want to miss it. NBC Sports California. Bottom of the 5th inning. The A's with a runner aboard, 2 outs. Our first pitching change for the Angels tonight. It's Noe Ramirez. Ramirez, the right-hander. Kind of a slinger, right, Dallas?
That's right. Yep. He's got some good movement on the fastball, likes the slider.
First pitch to Piscotti, and there is the slider. It spun up there and hung a little bit. Fouled straight back. Ramirez, 30 years old, 6'3", 205-pounder. 51 games last year. ERA just a touch under 4. Came up with the Red Sox. And now his 3rd year with the Angels.
And a whole bunch of games against the A's last year.
Seems like he pitches in every game.
Yep.
Yes, it does. Good outing for Andrew Heaney, 4 2/3. No walks and 6 strikeouts, and he finished with 67 pitches, so he'll be happy with that.
Except when that runner at first base scores, he's on the hook for a loss.
1-2 the count. Heaney had some back stiffness last week, but that cleared up, and he was fine to make the start tonight, and he did a good job.
And I think in the early part of this abbreviated season, you'll see managers really rely on the pitch count and not really try to extend a pitcher, especially in a case like this. It'd be nice to see him go in 5 innings and maybe have a chance to pick up a victory. But Joe Maddon is looking more as for the team victory and also to protect his pitcher versus, I mean, everything's changed for this year. You really can't think about a lot of things as a manager, and Joe's one of the best.
And you wonder if it'll ever get back to normal as far as starters, bullpen kind of thing this year. It may not.
Yeah. One thing Joe Maddon does not have to worry about this year are double switches. Except maybe, I guess, really with the DH and the National, you don't even have to worry about that, really, in the National League parks. Nope.
2-2 the count. Piscotti, a fly ball to right field, his only at bat. That was in the 3rd inning. Trout deep and shaded a little bit toward right center. So full count. That'll help Matt Olson as he will take off on the pitch.
Well, I'm sure Piscotti getting the word from Darren Bush, the A's hitting coach. You guys talking about the slider, 3-2. Don't be surprised if you get it, because he likes to throw it greater percentage of the time, and this could be one right here on 3-2.
Olson, big lead, takes off, and a slider, it's outside.
And that's having an idea of basically what a pitcher does in certain situations. That's why Darren Bush is one of the best in alerting the A's hitters and telling them in certain situations what they might expect to get. Because I don't think there are many hitters that don't go up there thinking fastball, and you do that 3-2. There's Darren Bush. He is one of the masked. They're a very good hitting coach, very well respected, especially among the A's players.
So the A's looking for a 2-out hit from Sean Murphy, who struck out in the 3rd. Slider off the plate. TJ McFarland, the new A's left-handed reliever, is warming up out in the bullpen. In fact, he's been warming up for a while, so he's ready to go. Angels bullpen is quiet. It's the bottom of the 5th inning. Missed again, not close, 2-0.
Now, we've seen the slider a lot from Ramirez. He's had trouble locating that fastball. 2-0, typically a good fastball count, but that slider's probably Ramirez's hand speed pitch. Might be a good time for him to try to spin one here. And if you're Murph looking for that spinner up, you might have a shot to do some damage here. Take advantage of Ramirez trying to get himself back into the count.
A 2-0 slider and a good one.
I remember last year Murph came up, his first hit was a home run to right center. So they are shading him actually to pull the ball Estella towards second base. Huge gap on the right side. Trout and Goodwin. Goodwin playing shallow in right field. Trout is out there somewhere. He does play a deep outfield.
So now it's 3-1. If you haven't figured it out, Nohe Ramirez likes his slider.
Likes the slider a lot, doesn't he? If it's a third sign, it's another slider. Second sign, it's a fastball.
There it is. It's not close. And now the bases are loaded, and it's Marcus Semien.
So there's a case where Castro was using three signs, and unless they're adding, if he goes with the second sign, it was a fastball.
So Mickey Callaway, the new pitching coach for the Angels. Callaway, the former manager of the New York Mets.
It's got to be a quick conversation down to 12 seconds. See, when Nicky was a manager, he could take his time going out, but as a pitching coach now, you have 30 seconds.
Yeah, Mickey Callaway had the pleasure of managing in New York when his team had a lot going on. That's always a fun experience.
He probably is enjoying life there. He's a very good pitching coach with Terry Francona in Cleveland. Got the job as manager.
So here's Marcus Semien, opportunity for the A's with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Ramirez has faced 2 hitters. He's walked them both. And he misses with a slider.
Yep.
Olson at third, Piscotty at second, Murphy at first.
And one thing the A's hitters are doing facing Ramirez, the bottom 2 8th to 9th hitters, are laying off the slider.
Mike Myers, right-hander, warming up quickly. Slider that stays high, 2-0.
Close pitch here. This thing looks like it may have clipped the top of the zone, but we've kind of seen it all night. Very, very tight zone.
And now it's 3-0. Ramirez cannot find the strike zone, and it is a manager's nightmare to bring in a reliever who can't throw strikes, and the A's are closing in on taking advantage of it big time. Ramirez walked Piscotty, walked Murphy, and has gone 3-0 to Marcus Semien. And that one is a strike, just barely.
Saw Goodwin swing at 3-0. That 3-0 was a just please be a strike. And it's not one as a hitter that you can jump on thinking it's going to be a good fastball. It was not. It was just a get me over fastball, which is a good take by Marcus.
The 3-1 pitch popped up. Simmons back, and he's fighting it a little bit, and he makes the catch and goes down. So Andrelton Simmons, the Gold Glover, hangs with it, and Noe Ramirez somehow escapes damage, and the A's leave them loaded. We're headed to the 6th.
California is brought to you by Kelly Moore Paints, the Painter's Paint Store, and by Pizza Guys.
It's a 1-1 game, top of the 6th inning from the Coliseum. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. It's TJ McFarland, a new member of the Athletics, pitched with the Diamondbacks last year. He's 31 years old, 6'3", 200-pounder. It's his 7th year in the big leagues. He's pitched at the big league level with the Orioles, the Diamondbacks, and now the Athletics. Facing La Stella, Pujols, and Castro. La Stella's left-handed, Pujols is right-handed, Castro's left-handed. And remember, one of the new rules this year is the 3-batter minimum. So TJ McFarland comes into the game here in the 6th. He has to face 3 batters. You have to face 3 batters or get to the end of the inning. In this case, McFarland is starting the inning, so he is going to face 3 at least. Slowly hit. McFarland's going to have to get over there. He will, and he'll step on the bag. So that is out number 1.
Now batting number 5, Albert Pujols.
Good job by the left-handed athlete. Bouncing off the mound. You know it, boss. Don't just buy a ticket. Be part of the process. Ole with a nice little scoop and a flip on over there. That's gold over there at first base, folks.
Well, the key there is a nice feed. You kind of lead him into the bag, and as a pitcher, you know as well as anybody, Dallas, you touch the bag, get out of the way so you don't have a collision.
Here's Pujols, who takes a little bit low.
I think that helped McFarland. You watch his follow through. He finishes squaring himself up to the plate so he doesn't fall off so far to the third base side that he has to recover, as some left-handed pitchers do. Brett Anderson, one of those that fell off extremely hard towards third base, made it difficult to get back. And watch how he finishes and looks right at the hitter, and that's the optimum delivery and follow through to be able to handle the ball back up the middle or recover quickly enough to get to first base.
McFarland appeared in 51 games for the Diamondbacks last year. Pitched 56 innings, struck out 35. So he's not a big strikeout guy, not a big wipeout slider going to strike guys out. But that may be a little bit part of what he's all about as far as the ability to get right-handed hitters out. Could be a reason why the A's brought him aboard.
Absolutely.
When you can kind of see how he's been deployed here, backing up after Petit, and that's kind of resembles that bridge that we mentioned, getting to the back into the bullpen. There's a lot of horsepower down there, a lot of options. Sometimes getting to those horses can be a task.
Well, I think the 3-batter minimum, it does force the manager to look at everything a little bit closer if that's possible. But there is certainly some strategy involved, and I think there could be some strategy involved maybe to a lesser extent when the opposing manager is making out the lineup.
Yeah.
Number 16,
but it is something
Jason Castro.
new that the managers will have to think about. So 2 away. Here's Jason Castro. McFarland, little 3/4. Looks like he could drop down even a little bit more occasionally.
To your point, Kipe, about having the lefty, then Pujols the righty, and then another lefty. So there are your 3 batters. you take a chance with the power hitting Pujols in between, and the fact that McFarland has the ability to get righties out or pitch effectively against them, which he got Pujols, then it sets up perfectly. And then if he wants to bring in Wendelken to face Simmons, he can. He being the manager, Bob Melvin can do that if something should happen with Castro in this at bat.
Shallow left field. Canna hustles in, Canna grabs it, and that's a good inning for TJ McFarland, his first inning in the green and gold. Bottom of the 6th coming up.
California 4 dealers, well, the A's were hitless until this happened. Ramon Laureano with a 1-2 pitch that he turned quickly on it. Exit velocity 110.5. Distance 441 projected, and just a very quick bat by Ramon Laureano. So got him last year in September, got Heaney, and then gets him again tonight.
Number 22, Ramon Laureano.
How about this? A Roman split. How about this? Yeah, how about that? There it is there. And then he comes again, foot down. Well, what a great swing. And just so quick, and that's a great 2-strike approach by Ramon Laureano. Top now for that was the Roman Health split screen.
And we get a new pitcher for the Angels. His name is Mike Myers, number 60. So Myers, the 3rd pitcher in the ball game. Starter Haney was a lefty. Ramirez came in last inning, the right-hander. Now Myers, the right-hander. Myers last couple years pitching for the St. Louis Cardinals. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So 16 games last year for Myers. Pitched in 50 games for the Cardinals in 2018.
Slider, one of his specialty pitches. Good fastball, mid to upper 90s. Not afraid to throw the breaking ball with a fastball count.
Laureano, Chapman, and Davis here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Close pitch, touch outside, and now it's 3-1. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Angels. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for the Athletics. Hobie Milner, left-hander, warming for the Angels. Soria, the right-hander, warming for the Athletics. And that's a leadoff walk with the big boys coming up. So good start for the A's here in the bottom of the 6th. And the A's left them loaded in the 5th. They got a couple of walks but could not take advantage of it. But if you keep walking people, it will get you at some point.
Well, Frankie Montas walked 3 and one of them did score, and that's the only run he gave up. And you're right. But the one happy pitcher on the Angels bench, while he didn't show a lot of pleasure, was Andrew Heaney, who did leave with a runner at first base and 2 outs, and all of a sudden 1 hit could have changed everything.
Chapman must have got something he liked on the first pitch, but he skies it on the infield, and that's La Stella.
Fans throughout the season, the A's are looking to bring you into the action. Since you can't be here with us, head over to athletics.com/2020 for a look at some of the great ways you can get involved, from chances to be in the broadcast to ways to cheer from home and more. That's athletics.com/2020.
Well, we wish they were all here.
Yeah.
We really do.
Kipe, you're right. If you get a 5-pitch walk and Chapman just got a fastball that he popped straight up, but you're right, he got something he liked. He just couldn't do anything with it.
Slowly hit. Fletcher's got it. Fletcher fires to second for 1. Quick relay to first, and that's a double play. Very nice turn by Tommy La Stella, the second baseman.
Union Super Reward Checking. We pay you.
Bach Talk, an NBC Sports Bay Area podcast. Join NBC Sports Jessica Kleinschmidt for unique analysis and big-time guests. It's all the baseball fun you want. in a podcast. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by Wendy's. Good ball game tonight to open up this 2020 season. 1-1 top of the 7th. And Joakim Soria takes over. 71 appearances last year for the 36-year-old right-hander. Soria pitching in his 14th year in the big leagues. And he's going to go after Simmons, Goodwin, and then the top of the order, Fletcher. 4th pitcher of the night for the A's. Simmons a fly ball to left field and a fly ball to center field. Shows bunt, takes a strike. Chapman generally plays pretty deep. He's got such cat-quick reflexes.
Always ready, always on time. Great pre-pitch routine.
Seems like he's always ready to charge it, but it's almost like he's a step ahead of everybody.
Well, it's just he's anticipating the play. You watch him, I don't know if we're able to get a good shot on him pre-pitch, but the minute that Soria comes set and starts his movement home, Chappie splays out and is ready to move like a cat.
Well, and he keeps moving back. He's going to be touching hands with Mark Cannon in left field. So
now, here you go. Take a look right here. Soria is set and now ready to go, and he's out, ready to move laterally, up, down. And he can play shallow left because he's got the arm to cover it.
Yeah.
Moves to his left this time. Quick throw to first, and it gets by Olson, and that's going to allow Simmons to go to second base. So Matt Chapman had to move to his left, and it didn't look like he could get quite as much on the throw as he usually does. And Matt Olson just could not dig it out.
And I think he thought that he had to hurry, which he didn't. He had time to set himself and throw, getting enough on the throw without having to worry about getting it and throwing it underneath, and really not getting enough across the diamond where Ole had to reach out and could not come up with the scoop.
And it looked like he doesn't do this very often. It looked like he may have thrown him a little sinker.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So that's the go-ahead run at second base. It is an error on Chapman, and here's Brian Goodwin, a left-handed hitter. Goodwin takes down and in. Goodwin got a fair amount of playing time last year and did a heck of a job. He had 17 home runs last year for the Angels. Played a lot of outfield when Upton was hurt. Remember, the Angels did not bring back Cole Calhoun. He signed with the Diamondbacks. Swing and a miss. A big swing and a miss. This is, if you're the hitter, this is execution time.
Yeah.
This is not home run time. This is execution time.
And that execution is pulling the ball on the ground to the right side. Hope it gets through. If it doesn't, at least you advance a runner to third.
Close pitch, but low. Soria wanted it.
Looks tough. We've talked about it all night long. Not many corners on this thing. This ball just low. Murph does a good job of trying to get that thumb underneath and picking it back up.
Marcus Semien dancing around a little bit with Simmons, trying to keep him close. That game's a final down in Houston. The Astros beat the Seattle Mariners 8-2. Verlander got the win over Gonzalez. So the Astros and the Rangers both win. Fletcher on deck. After Fletcher, it's Trout. Another close pitch, but just a touch outside. Goodwin has the only RBI in the game for the Angels and a run-scoring single in the fourth. And that one's hit right center, hanging up. Piscotty has it. Tagging is Simmons. Simmons hustling for third, and he'll make it with a slide. So Goodwin did what he needed to do. He hit it to the right side in the air, but deep enough for Simmons to get to third.
Number 22, David Fletcher.
Well, this becomes obviously a key at bat in the game.
Yeah.
But the cat and mouse comes into play here, where Fletcher, as we mentioned earlier, the hardest guy in the American League to strike out. Infield comes in except for Chapman.
Except for Chapman, exactly.
And with Trout standing in the on-deck circle, this up to date is probably the biggest at-bat in the game.
Right.
Fletcher 1 for 3. He is kind of the reincarnation of David Eckstein.
Yes, I was thinking about Dallas mentioned Sean Figgins, David Eckstein. You had the first and ninth place hitters, 2 leadoff hitters essentially, and so. But you're right, David Fletcher has become that type of a player.
Hit well to right center. Laureano squares up. He's got it. Here comes Simmons hustling home. And the Angels take a 2-1 lead. So an error, 2-base error, a fly ball to advance the runner, and a sacrifice fly. So the Angels take advantage and they take the lead.
Well, this is that get him on, get him over, get him in type of production. And Fletcher here gets a ball he can handle, gets it out to the outfield deep enough where the laser's unable to make an impact.
And the 2 runs scored by the Angels, 1 on a walk, the 2-out single, and a 2-base error and a sac fly.
So here's Trout, first pitch a strike. Or make that a ball a little bit outside. Trout hit by a pitch, a single, and a strikeout so far. Check swing, slowly hit. Sorry, off the mound, bare hands. His throw is just in time to get the speedy Trout. And the side is retired. Unearned run for the Angels, so they grab a 2-1 lead as we have reached the 7th inning stretch here at the Coliseum on opening night. Presented by Provident Credit Union. First game of this 2020 shortened season. Angels lead at 2-1. They got that second run in the top of this inning. So the A's 3 more shots against the Angels bullpen, and there is a new pitcher out there. His name is Jacob Barnes. Pitcher number 4. So Barnes takes over to face Olson, Pinder, and Canna, bottom of the 7th.
Well, all you have to look for as a hitter, 2 pitches, fastball, slider, and that's sometimes what you get out of the bullpen. Usually you get a 2- and 4-seam fastball, but Barnes seems to like the 4-seam fastball. Good velocity. Maybe Ole can get into one.
95, called ball. Barnes, 30 years old. Split the season between the Brewers and the Royals. Very high ERA.
But the A's should be very accustomed to seeing a lot of relief pitchers because they saw 18 and 18 innings against the Giants.
That's not any fun as a hitter.
No. You're seeing different pitcher every inning.
And that could have been part of the reason the A's really did not get much offense going in those 2 exhibition games. I don't know that that has anything to do with what's going on tonight. 1-2 the count to Big Matt Olson. Strikeout in a single. Shohei Ohtani. He's going to lead off the 8th inning. That's a swing and a miss with a slider.
Hey, you got a few furry friends. Now's a chance to get a Coliseum pet cutout for the animal in your life. Coliseum pet cutouts are $89 each, with proceeds benefiting Tony LaRussa's Animal Rescue Foundation, ARF, and the East Bay SPCA. Be sure to purchase your pet cutout and submit your photos soon to ensure it will be in place for an upcoming game. Visit athletics.com/cutouts for details. Hall of Fame manager Tony LaRussa, who's part of this Angels organization. He's moving around quite a bit.
That's right. He's with the Angels now. He's with the Diamondbacks for a while.
Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, until Dave Dombrowski was told to depart. I guess, to put it nicely. And in fact, Dombrowski's name was mentioned as taking over as general manager for this Angels club.
Over the head of a leaping Anderson Simmons, and Pinder's got a hit. So a 1-out single. Day game tomorrow. Sunshine here at the Coliseum. It'll be Sean Manaea and Dylan Bundy. Dylan Bundy, big, strong right-hander that the Angels acquired in the offseason from the Orioles. And Sean Manaea, left-hander. We're looking forward to seeing his first start. So Bundy and Manaea tomorrow. Coverage starts with A's pregame live at 12:30. And then first pitch, 1:05. Maybe a little bit later. Tony Kemp, the pinch runner. Speedy Tony Kemp. First pitch to Canna is a strike.
And according to the reports, with Ohtani pitching on Sunday, are they talking about not playing the day before, the day after?
Well, yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, with Manaea pitching tomorrow, lefty on lefty, you might.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Kemp's got a good lead. So the matchup on Sunday will be fun. Mike fires Shohei Ohtani. And then Monday, Chris Bassett and Griffin Canning. So we will see Shohei Ohtani on Sunday. Remember, he did not pitch at all last year.
And at 18, he pitched against the A's both times on Sunday.
He was good.
He's a Sunday pitcher.
Yep. And that is the way it's going to be this year.
So under normal circumstances, that's 26 starts. 26 weeks in a season, under normal circumstances.
Kemp with a good lean going. And the pitch is inside. One and two to Mark Canna, who has popped to third and struck out. Kemp has a very big lead. Now looking at Kemp's stolen base numbers, he did not have a stolen base last year with the Cubs. He had 4 with the Astros. Remember, he split the season.
See, he's at about that 11-foot mark right now to start. He'll come set. He might grab himself another half-foot or so.
And so Kemp has good speed, but has never been a big base stealer at the big league level.
And as we have talked often, stolen base attempts are down anyway. They just seem to be something that you don't see a lot of anymore. And just wondering if it's more of a getting some speed on the base pass. Somebody could score maybe the ball in the gap. Not that Pinder's not that slow himself, but take the ball in the gap, see what Kemp can do. course, they keep throwing over, and you make an errant throw. That's a runner at third base.
Yep, that's right. Monty Moore, beep, beep. Beep, beep.
And that's the one thing about the foul territory here at the Coliseum.
Yeah, it is an automatic standing at third. 2-2 to Canna.
Sometimes I wonder if those throwovers are done by the pitcher himself or the catcher versus coming from the bench. That's a lot of throwovers for somebody. I mean, they go by statistics, and to your point, Cap, about not really stealing a lot of bases last year. Why do you keep throwing over and taking a chance of making a bad throw?
Hooked foul off the screen right in front of the bullpen. See Diekman getting loose.
You know, this is the first year that the A's have been able to extend the netting down the lines because there's no football. But in a season in which it's starting in late July, makes you wonder why there's netting, because it really interferes with plays to be made in the stands.
Swing and miss, struck him out. 96 miles an hour, just a little bit off the plate.
Barnes continued to work that fastball. Continued to work it down in the zone. He's got good angle on the heater, you can see, and he's able to get Mark Canna fishing just outside. Looks like that ball might have even had just a slight bit of cut on it.
So 2 outs. And the Angels, like the A's, have 10 relievers in their bullpen. 8 righties and 2 lefties. The A's have 7 righties and 3 lefties, and the 3 lefties includes Jesus Luzardo. So there's plenty of arms down there, at least for the first couple of weeks. Piscotty, center field. Trout coming in. Trout makes the catch. He plays shallow, or he plays deep, excuse me, but he generally gets a good jump, and he did there. So we're on to the 8th. 2-1 Angels. With a warning track on a smarter, more secure home Wi-Fi network. If it's connected, it's protected. Angels 2, A's 1, top of the 8th inning. Back to the bullpen for the Athletics. It's Jake Diekman. Diekman's going to face Ohtani, Upton, and LaStella. Ohtani a single, and he's been on base 2 other times, both times on a fielder's choice. So Diekman back with the Athletics. Those are the numbers last year in the offseason. Could have been a free agent, but signed a 2-year contract with the Athletics. Canna back, and Canna reaches up, makes the catch, and that's out number 1.
That's the opposite of power that Ohtani is able to display, and Canna had to take a look at the outfield wall just to see how much room he had. The ball just kept carrying on him.
Tony Kemp is the new second baseman. It's interesting, guys. A couple innings ago, we were talking about the 3-hitter rule and strategy for the managers. And you look at the 6th inning, Bob Melvin brought in the left-hander McFarland because he had the opportunity where the Angels were in the lineup to face 2 left-handers.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Diekman. It just so happens he's at this spot in the lineup where it's Ohtani, Upton, and LaStella. Well, Ohtani and LaStella are left-handed, so a left-hander in Diekman in at this point gives him the opportunity to face 2 left-handers.
And you know, I've thought as we start to deploy these guys, knowing you have to face at least 3 of these batters per inning unless you're going to end the inning. If you've got a guy out there that can really sort of nullify the platoon splits, you've really eliminated the ability for the opposing team to sort of match up or utilize that left, right, left order that they've created. And if you can take advantage and pick those spots like Bob Melvin has with maybe a couple lefties squaring off a couple lefties with a righty sandwiched in between, and you've got the confidence in that southpaw to get that righty out, well, you've kind of eliminated that matchup.
1-2 to Upton. Upton hits a very high fly ball. Canna calls off Ramon Laureano, and he grabs it. And to Dallas, to your point, all of a sudden your stock goes up if you're that left-hander that is just a little bit better than the other left-hander at getting a right-hander out, right-handed hitter out.
That's the key. That's the reason guys have a job.
Well, that's right.
Because guys who aren't able to do that, the old situational, Jeptinsky could never have a job today. I mean, he's one batter, and by the time he took the mound, the manager was on the way to the mound to get the next batter.
It's going to be a good inning for Diekman as he goes 3 up, 3 down. A's need a couple of runs. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Dealers, tight ball game. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Angels. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error for the Athletics. Heaney was good, pitched into the 5th inning. Frankie Montas pitched 4 innings, 81 pitches. Struggled a little bit early, but then settled in nicely. The only run for the Athletics came in the bottom of the 4th. And that was a home run by Ramon Laureano. So Robbie Grossman's going to pinch hit here for Sean Murphy, trying to get aboard. And they will face another arm out of the bullpen. Ty Buttrey, workhorse last year, 72 games with 6 wins. And that one's hit high in the air, right center field. It's hit pretty well. Trout back. Trout circling underneath it, and he makes the catch, a step onto the warning track. Grossman hit it well.
Heavy air to Coliseum, and sounded great off the bat. Elevated fastball. Robbie Grossman, a very good pinch hitter, but this time got under it just a little bit, plus it stayed in the park. As it got to the warning track, the Trout plays deep anyway, and an easy play for him.
So here's the top of the order, Marcus Semien, and Marcus swings at a pitch in the dirt. Michael Hermosillo is the new left fielder for the Angels. Upton's out.
Buttrey likes his slider. Of course, we've said that a few times tonight with right-handers from the Angels bullpen.
Line foul. A couple of years ago, the Red Sox, fighting for a playoff spot, needed a second baseman, and so the Angels traded Ian Kinsler to the Red Sox. And they got Ty Buttrey back, and Angels love Buttrey. They think he could be a major workhorse out of their bullpen for a long time. He's a big guy, 6'6", 245 pounds. One and 2 to Marcus Semien, and that one off the plate. The Angels will go with Buttrey in the 8th, and their closer is Hansel Robles if they're obviously leading in a game. So they like to work their way through it and get to those 2 guys in the 8th and the 9th.
Well, last year they tried that, and Buttrey early September of last year walked through the first 4 batters he faced, throwing breaking pitches to all the hitters on 3 and 2. Kept walking, ended up giving up a whole bunch of runs. Faced 4 batters, gave up 4 runs. Picked up a loss. The A's scoring late. Trying to do that again tonight. So we saw Noe Ramirez to Piscotti and Murphy throw breaking pitches behind the count, walking them. Here's a 3-2 count. To a pitcher who likes to throw a slider. Will he do it again?
And he did, and he missed badly, and it's a 1-out walk.
And, you know, that's a surprising thing. In Dallas, I know if you possessed a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, wouldn't you use it?
Oh, false.
I mean, seriously, and that's what I was shocked last year when he kept throwing the breaking ball 3-2 with the fastball that he can throw in the upper 90s.
And he's got a little movement on it too.
Yeah, and that was so shocking. And you know, the A's hopeful tonight to do the same thing because you know they've been very disciplined on sliders away from these guys and drawing some walks, but not getting them in.
Yeah, I always thought I've never heard of a phrase of a hanging fastball.
Oh. How about a giddy up on it?
And if you've got the ability to overpower, if you have the ability to compete within the strike zone, that's what makes that secondary stuff so tough to pick up, so tough to hit. It's because these hitters, they have to time it up, they have to be ready. As we know in the big leagues, these boys can time a bullet.
Yeah.
So if you have the ability to put it where you want, you've got something to work with. I'll take you back to the 4th inning here. Heaney, not a hanging heater, but a hanging slider, and the laser deposits it into left field with authority.
You know, the difference there with Laureano facing a starter who pitched into the 5th inning with a guy like Buttry coming in out of the bullpen to pitch 1 inning. And Dallas, to your point about, you know, right back, if you have a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, why wouldn't you use it? Why would you try to fool guys when you have a chance to hang a slider versus a fastball that, you know, hitters have to gear it up a little bit extra to get to it. Mickey Callaway goes out. What does he do? Comes back and throws a good fastball for a strike.
That's it. And typically as a reliever, you're coming into the ball game late, maybe with runners on. It's understandable. You want to come in spinning that breaking ball for strikes. Maybe starting off an inning. Go ahead and establish that heater knowing you're going to get to that wipeout pitch with 2 strikes, maybe even to get yourself to a 2-strike count and then eliminate the hitter. But it all works off that old number 1 early on.
Chapman in the on-deck circle.
Fastball in.
And not close. 96, but missed the target badly. And now it's a full count. Let's see if Marcus Semien is on the move.
And if he throws the sliders, hit it to right field, you have a 1st and 3rd and 1 out.
He is moving. And the ball is line fair down the right field line. Semien digging for 3rd. The ball is kicked around by Goodwin. Here comes Marcus Semien. He's going to score. We're tied at 2. Brian Goodwin went into a slide, but did not come up with it cleanly. And once the ball kind of rolled away from him just a little bit, but he had to go retrieve it, and at that point, Semien was going to score.
The opening was there, and Buttry fell behind. Elevated fastball down the right field line with Semien on the move. Semien, great speed, great place to hit the ball, and basically Goodwin trying to cut the ball off. He does by sliding, but not enough time to throw out Semien, who was on the move. Great call to be able to send Semien. That's the trust that you have in Laureano to put the ball in play. He did perfectly.
Well, now you have what I always say is the beautiful opportunity to take the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning.
You can see Semien, he's going to take a look back, pick it up, and then it's high, stepping it all the way home, never slows down, and he scores easily. But that's all about anticipating, picking up your 3rd base coach, watching the ball. Well, we've got the mad scientist.
He's talking to home plate umpire Brian Knight. Albert Pujols is also talking a little bit, and now the umpires are going to get together. I'm not sure what it's about. Albert Pujols looked like he was maybe part of the situation as well. Not sure. Bob Melvin is now coming out. He wants an explanation. We don't know what they're discussing, folks.
Interference.
The ball shot right past Pujols. I don't know if that has anything to do with the conversation.
It wouldn't have hit Semien because he was well past it.
See, Albert Pujols is chatting with Mike Malinsky. Laureano is the runner standing at second base. No idea, folks. I wish we could help you out.
Can't read in the lips. Well, that clearly was a swing that Chapman had, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I'm just wondering if the home plate umpire didn't call it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think that was a swing.
Well, yeah, and fortunately, if that's all it was, that's okay, because it definitely was a swing. It wasn't like it's a check swing with an appeal.
So 1-1 to count to Chapman. That's 0 for 3. He'll take a flare here. Chases that pitch in the dirt. Now it's 1-2.
See how he's opening up on the slider, and that's what Laureano. It's almost that Laureano was thinking slider and got the fastball away. Watch Chappie open up. See when the hips fly. Chappie, as you always say, when you can see the hips, that means you open up too much.
Tried it again. This time Chapman lays off.
But even though he throws 98 miles per hour, and again Laureano just reacted on the slider in from Heaney to hit the home run, and then took the fastball to right field by maybe thinking about the slider on 3-2.
That one's driven to right. It's hit well. Goodwin going back. Goodwin at the wall. Goodwin leaps. It's over his head. Laureano was standing at second base. He's got a hustle. He rounds third, being waved home. He's going to score. Chapman at third, and the A's have the lead. So Matt Chapman goes the other way, just like Laureano did. And Chapman with the RBI triple.
Unfortunately, the ball came off the wall well enough for Laureano to score. And there's the pitch that was up again. But typically, one out, you don't tag, you go halfway. Laureano was standing on second, there's already one out. You don't want to be at second base. Watch him go back. There's no reason to think about tagging. You got to go halfway. And he almost didn't score. Fortunately, the ball hit off the wall hard enough to come back, and Laureano could score, and Chappie gets to third base. What a great job of hitting by Laureano and Matt Chapman.
So the infield in, one out, and here's Chris Davis.
Well, it's a great job by Matt Chapman letting this ball travel. It's up. Instead of trying to get around this thing, he hits it where it's pitched, delivers it out to right. The speedy Laureano able to make up and come around to score. That's a big at bat by Matt Chapman.
To the backstop, bounces back to Castro. Chapman is in no man's land, and now there's a rundown. Castro is going to tag Chapman for the second out. So Matt Chapman, that's a tough break because the ball bounced right back to Castro, and Chapman had really started coming home, and there's just not a whole lot you can do.
Well, if he'd gone back immediately right there, if he goes back, he stopped. If he'd gone back, or maybe he tripped a little bit and then got caught, and at that point, forget it.
Well, you can see right here as he's breaking down, he knows right now, uh-oh, I might have to go back. And here, that's right when Castro drops the ball. You can see Fletcher kind of drop his hands, and I think Chapman picks that up and thinks, oh, maybe Castro has not corralled the baseball. Turns around to find out, whoops, yes, he has.
Well, that's a big run, too. That's a huge insurance run.
So 2-0 the count to Chris Davis, and now 3-0 the count. So the A's have scored twice in the bottom of the 8th inning to take the lead, and
green light time, guys.
They got the big fellow Liam Hendricks.
Got a green light
ready to go.
KD. Take this 3-0 heater, do some damage.
Hendricks is ready. He's been throwing for a while. And that one misses badly. So Davis with the walk. The inning continues. Joe Madden's coming out, and he's going to go to the former A, Ryan Buchter, to face Olson. So Ty Buttrey gives up 2 runs, and the A's have the lead here in the bottom of the 8th.
Toyota, the most trusted brand on the road in California. And by Xfinity X1, the hub for all things sports with the Xfinity Sports Zone.
So Ty Buttrey, tough outing. A's take advantage of a little wildness, come up with a couple of huge hits, and now the A's have a chance for a come-from-behind win, leading 3-2, bottom of the 8th inning. Former Athletic Ryan Buchter comes in. He's got one job, and that's to get the left-handed hitting Olson. Buchter pitched in 64 games last year for the A's. Buchter's been with Atlanta, San Diego, Kansas City, the A's, and now the Angels.
Buchter's changed his setup. Normally he would extend his arms, but he's comes to this stretch and keeps the glove and ball close to his body.
Slider first strike. Olson has struck out twice, and he has a base hit. I wouldn't say Buchter in his time with the A's was necessarily just a left-handed specialist, but he was close to it.
Yeah, his splits weren't that good against righties. They were better against lefties than righties, and I think that's one of the reasons that the A's decided on Beekman and McFarland.
But I think Buchter is a perfect example of a guy who he can be tough on left-handers, but if he wants to, if he wants to keep pitching in the big leagues, he's going to have to figure out a way to get right-handers out more consistently than he did. Because he can do that against left-handers. He can be tough on lefties. Davis runs. He got a good jump, and Olson hits it high and foul just down to our left. Chris Davis must have saw something with Buchter's delivery because he got a very good jump.
Yeah, hesitation with the front foot. That's surprising with the runner on. That and Buch has a tendency to do that. And of course he had was it Elvis Anderson still home against him last year in Texas? See right there, a little bit of a slow delivery. There, the hands back similar to what Petit was doing. If you have a runner looking right at him, no hesitation necessary. Or you better not have it because he will pick up something. The 2-2 slider. Does he throw it again? 3-2.
Well, the old adage, you throw a 2-2, you might as well throw it 3-2. Figure you're going to throw a better one.
Exactly.
Davis goes, sliders away, and Buchter walks him. Well, we are 1 year out from the Tokyo Olympics. The world will come back together to celebrate competition, unity, and the triumph of the human spirit as the best athletes on earth pursue a dream delayed. The Tokyo Games begin next July on NBC. That's 6 walks now.
Just thinking the same thing.
Angels pitchers, and we said it's going to catch up with you at some point, and it has.
Well, and basically what we've seen in those walks tonight, and it was Andrew Heaney, the starter, 4 2/3, did not walk a batter. The bullpen, with the exception of Barnes, everybody's walked at least one. And it's a matter, again, as we've talked to coming in and out of the bullpen, your best pitch typically is a good heater because you're in typically for 1 inning, or at least a minimum of 3 batters.
This is Franklin Barreto. He's hitting for Kemp. So Kemp pinch ran for Pinder last inning. Barreto hitting here in the 8th, and that one pops away from Castro. And the count is 1-1. So that'll be a wild pitch. This all started with a walk to Marcus Simeon.
Shock.
See Booker just getting around that slider just a touch. KD doing a good job, good secondary, reading that ball in the dirt. BID. Was able to pick up an extra 90 feet, him and Matt Olson both. So a big knock here by Franklin Barreto could tack on some much needed insurance.
That would be great because that means 3 runs will score via the walk. If he could come up with a big hit.
Inside corner, good pitch there by Booker, and the count is 1-2. I think the original plan going into summer camp was that Franklin Barreto was probably going to get a lot of starts when a left-handed pitcher was starting. But Chad Pinder got so dang hot. And Bob Melvin said, I got to get Pinder in there. So Pinder tonight started at second base. Swing and a miss on a fastball. And Barreto strikes out, but the A's take the lead. They score twice off the Angels bullpen. Time for Liam Hendriks, the all-star closer. 3-2 A's.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So the A's lead at 3-2. It is the top of the 9th inning. The closer, Liam Hendriks, comes in. So Matt Chapman made the error that cost the A's a run a couple innings ago, but comes back, and now he has a chance to be the offensive hero with his run-scoring triple that gave the A's the 3-2 lead. So Liam Hendriks to face Pujols, Castro, and Simmons here in the 9th. 25 saves last year for Hendriks and a trip to the All-Star game. His first opportunity for a save. In the hole. Simeon's got it. Bounces up, flips across, and Olson digs it out. Pujols is retired, 1 away. So Marcus Simeon into the slide, and he knew he had enough time.
Marcus Simeon getting nasty in the 6th hole. Gotta love it. To your point, Kipe, knows he's got time with the machine lumbering down the first baseline. Beautiful slide, pickup, and a nice throw on over to first base. And look at Ole. Staying golden over there with the dig.
Fortunately.
So here is Jason Castro, a strikeout, walk, fly ball to left field for Castro. Angels have not had a hit since Fletcher's single in the 5th inning. The run they scored in the 7th, they got without a hit.
When you look at this game, only 9 hits total between the two clubs. Fortunately, the A's a few more walks than the Angels, and 2 key hits with great at bats by Laureano and Matt Chapman.
So 0-2 to Castro. nasty pitch. Missed inside again.
Well, talk about being consistent. And I think you watch Liam Hendriks. I think he thought he had it, and he probably should have. And can't believe that did not bring him up on the 3 pitches.
That one in the dirt and rolls away. So the count even at 2-2.
You know what I used to do is tell the umpire, don't assume if it's 0-2 it's going to be a waste pitch. Stay with me, because this guy's not going to mess around, not going to try to get somebody to chase, and you just let the umpire know that, just so he's paying attention, because I think a lot of times they just assume it's going to be a chase or a waste pitch, trying to go or trying to get the hitter to do something. But sometimes it's better to say something than to let one be missed, which it looks like Liam Hendriks should have had him out on 3 pitches.
Right field and deep. Piscotty gone. Liam Hendriks is hot. He thought he had Castro struck out with a breaking ball. Served up a fastball and Castro hit it out. We're tied at 3.
Now batting for 2, Andrelton Simmons.
Well, you're exactly right, Kat. Fastball elevated, unfortunately, and you get to that 2-2 count. Had him 0-2. Slider should have been strike 3, was not. Buried the slider, curveball in the dirt, then came back with a fastball, and he did not miss it. So the A's last year with a number that they'd like to forget, the blown saves, and here's one right now. So the A's at least have the bottom of the 9th inning, and hopefully at this point we'll go in with a tie.
1-1 to Andrelton Simmons, and remember,
yes.
Extra innings this year. Every half inning in extra innings starts with a runner at second base.
Yep.
There was not any extra inning games tonight in the big leagues. So if it happens here, it'll be the first time. Fosse, get your legs loose. You made the last out. Get out there.
Wow.
Interesting stuff. Yeah. 2-2 the count to Simmons. Brian Goodwin waits in the on-deck circle.
The last out was Barreto, and he's got some speed. Just went at the bottom of the 9th, don't have to worry about it. Better yet, get 2 more outs in this inning and make sure it's a tie going into the bottom of the 9th. And isn't it amazing, the wild pitch, the ball came back off the backstop to Castro, and turns out to be a huge out instead of the insurance run. And then Castro's the one that hits the home run to tie it.
Foul. Right side, just down the line a little bit. Full count to Simmons. A little flare, and that's going to work for Andrelton Simmons. So he's got a base hit, a 1-out base runner, and here's Goodwin. You really don't want to turn the lineup over.
For 18, Brian Goodwin.
Well, got the count in favor. There's Simmons. Another fastball. And the thing about Liam Hendriks, he normally pitches down in the zone with a hard slider, curveball, fastball mixture, but the fastballs have been up. This pitch he threw was not called a strike, the 0-2 slider.
Outside to Brian Goodwin. Goodwin 1 for 3 with an RBI single. He also had a productive at-bat in the 7th inning. Came up with a runner at second, nobody out, and hit a deep fly ball to right field, and that allowed Simmons to get to third, and then he scored on a sacrifice fly. So Goodwin, part of that run. And then in the fourth inning, he had an RBI single. So it's been a good night offensively for Brian Goodwin, hitting out of the ninth spot. Simmons bluffs going, stops. He took about 3 steps to second base and then stopped. The count is 3-0.
Now this is where a mound visit would be beneficial to try to slow down Liam Hendriks, because he seems to be rushing everything, always trying to get 2 outs with 1 pitch. Finds himself in a hole again, 3-0.
And that one is low, and Hendriks not happy there. So 2 on, 1 out. Scott Emerson will come out. And Dallas, as a pitcher, I find it hard that there would be something more frustrating than being a closer and being close to doing your job and then giving up a home run where it's tied.
Well, what's tough is you feel like you had the out.
Yeah.
You feel like you had Castro.
That makes it even worse.
Absolutely. You feel like you had Castro locked up, and that didn't work out for you. So then you dip into your bag of tricks, you reach back and you try to go grab 99, maybe 100, and it runs back over the middle. And now you feel like you've just been beaten twice, once by the umpire, once by your opponent, maybe even by yourself. So the frustration continues to mount, and then you kind of get bled out by some soft contact, and you want to stop that snowball from getting bigger.
Well, here's Fletcher. Fletcher swings at the first pitch. So Trout in the on-deck circle. So the A's 2 outs away from a win. The Angels battling back. Good pitch there, and it's 0-2 to David Fletcher. 1 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. Good speed with Simmons at second, Goodwin at first. Outfield defense straight away, and the outfielders have come in a step or two. Want to have a play at Simmons at the plate. .21 pitches for Liam Hendriks here in the top of the ninth. Ansel Robles, the Angels closer, is throwing down in their bullpen down the right field line. Nasty pitch. Call the ball. Is that as close to being a strike as I think it is?
Yes.
Man, that looked like a good pitch.
And when you think about the depth of the strike zone, the possibility that this ball clips the bottom as it makes its way down through the strike zone, it can be tough to swallow.
Yeah, it definitely looked like from up here. Just looking at it with the naked eye, it looked like a strike.
Fletcher jammed a little bit, pops a foul back.
And this is a guy that you don't want to give an extra chance, because it seems like he will find a way to make contact.
And that's what makes these types of at-bats tough at times. You get to 0-2 against a good contact guy, and you don't want to be too close around the zone and give him something to hit with 2 strikes. But you also need to deposit him. You got to get him out of there.
Barreto trying to keep Simmons close, and that pitch is down and away. Nice play by Austin Allen, who's in the game.
I've talked about him with his mobility, and basically he shows it here with the ball away, breaking ball, and watch how he moves laterally. Gets his glove in a good position with his body behind him, and able to block and keep both runners at first and second and in double play order.
Full count with Trout on deck. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, strike 3 call. Perfect pitch by Liam Hendricks.
Well, that's twice tonight that we've seen 3 and 2. The runners have not been running. Upton, one of them, and then this time.
Well, it's been a battle back and forth. Fletcher's done a good job throughout the AB laying off the soft stuff as Hendricks tries to expand, and he goes back to the good hard fastball down and away. I mean, that's a well-located pitch. Not much Fletcher's going to be able to do with that should he pull the trigger.
Well, here's the strategy. The A's will walk Mike Trout.
Now batting, number 17, Shohei Ohtani.
So that will force the bases loaded, and Shohei Ohtani is the hitter.
You know what,
so you either face Trout with runners at first and second, 2 outs, or you face Ohtani with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
That's called RESPECT. Well. Because not quite the Barry Bonds by Buck Showalter who's walking in with the bases loaded, but it's close. And you know what? You have to wonder if Joe Madden thought that might happen anyway, because he did not send Simmons with good speed. He had a big lead off second. And he had good speed with Simmons and Goodwin, but did not send them with a guy who typically makes contact.
So here's Ohtani. First pitch, fouled straight back. Good battle here. Hendricks, all-star closer against one of the better left-handed hitters in the American League, Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani tonight, single, a couple of fielder's choice, and a fly ball to left field, so he's 1 for 4.
And again, defense straight up, because the way he drives the ball, he can pull it soft, drive the ball to the opposite field with a fastball.
That's a strike right down the middle. Ohtani took it. So he got a fastball, but he just could not pull the trigger.
Yeah, that's a surprising thing, because it was right there, and velocity at 95, that's fine, but location was not what Liam Hendricks wanted, but he got the call.
And a swing and a miss. So Hendricks gets out of the jam, but gives up the home run to Jason Castro. So we're tied 3-3, headed to the bottom of the 9th. Fan cam. Well, they've seen an entertaining ball game. It's 3-3 going to the bottom of the 9th. A's were down, scored 2 in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. Castro with the home run to tie it. So an entertaining ball game to open up this shortened 2020 season. Here's Hansel Robles. He is the closer for the Angels. 23 saves last year. Good ERA at 2.48. The whip, walks and hits on into innings pitched. So if it's anywhere around 1, that's pretty good.
Well, it was a game last September that started by Heaney and the A's Frankie Montas. Matt Chapman had a home run in Anaheim. Remember that one, the straightaway center field, a 2-run shot. Blown save for Robles, so maybe he can give up another one now.
Canna, shallow left. Hermosillo can't get it, and the A's got something going here in the bottom of the 9th. A leadoff single by Canna.
Evidently, Robles not throwing as hard. I mean, he reportedly throwing close to 100 miles per hour, but not throwing as hard as this ball is elevated.
So leadoff man aboard, 6th hit for the A's. Both teams with 6 hits. And here is Stephen Piscotty. First pitch to Piscotty is popped up. Castro waits and then flips the mask, and he makes the catch. So that is out number 1.
Now batting, number 30, Austin Allen.
And we'll get our first look at Austin Allen. Austin Allen came over from the Padres in the Jurickson Profar trade. It was back in December.
He's got some good power, and see if he can do it. Welcome him to the Coliseum, to the Oakland A's.
Swing and a miss. He was trying to. Speaking of Jurickson Profar, he was in the starting lineup tonight for the San Diego Padres. So good for him. I think he tested positive for COVID. And you know where he was batting?
Cleanup.
Cleanup.
Wow.
Cleanup hitter for the Pods. Machado? Nah. Hosmer? Nah. Tommy Pham? Nah. Let's go with Profar. Jurickson, good for him.
Looks like old Hosmer had himself a day.
Did he?
6 RBIs, 5-6 RBIs opening day.
Well, wherever he hit tonight, he'll be back there tomorrow.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner, 2 outs.
Now batting,
First pitch base hit by Mark Cannon. First pitch pop up by Piscotty. Then 3-pitch strikeout and fastball, a little tailing action coming back on the inside. 0-2 seamer, freeze him.
Now we hope this game does not go to extra innings.
You're right.
Full shift on for Simeon. Castro turns around. He may have a play. He's going to have a play, and he's got it. Here we go, folks. The first time ever in Major League Baseball history, extra inning starts with a runner at second base. That runner will be that guy right there. The runner at second base. The runner is the guy who made the last out the inning before, and that was Shohei Ohtani, who struck out. So Ohtani, hey buddy, you're at second base. New rules this year.
Grab your lid, you're going to second.
So as long as this game goes on, every half inning there will be a runner at second base. That's how the inning will start. A's will have that going for them.
And I stand corrected because I said it would be Barreto, but now it's Simeon because
Simeon, yep.
Barreto had made the last out in the bottom of the 8th inning, but bottom of the 9th inning it was Marcus Simeon. So Ohtani with good speed, Marcus Simeon with good speed.
So here's Birch Smith.
number 25,
Wouldn't you know
Jared
it?
Walsh.
First game of the season.
Unbelievable.
Instead of a nice clean 9th inning.
Yep. And this is the first time this has happened. Yeah. No other games so far. A couple on Thursday and all the games tonight. None of them went to extra innings. So we'll take it from here, right, guys?
1-0, 1-0. Low-scoring games, but
so the hitter. This was Upton's spot, but it looks like it's going to be Walsh, number 25.
Well, yeah, because he was taken out for defense for
Hermosillo was in,
right? And so
this is number 25, Jared Walsh.
Isn't he the two-way player?
I believe he is.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's right. Left-handed pitcher. So Hermosillo played a couple innings, but he is out.
So how do you put that in your scorebook, guys?
Well, that's a very
the 10th inning, you got a runner on with. Interesting.
How did he get there?
Yeah.
We just put him there.
Just put him there. Make an asterisk. Just a little note.
We just put him there.
First of all, Ohtani had no clue what he was supposed to do. Then somebody, his interpreter, told him you got to go to second.
1-1. Inside. So Bert Smith takes over. Hendricks goes an inning, gives up a couple of hits and the run. 7th pitcher of the night for the A's. And the Angels have also used 7.
Well, the A's swung so early against Robles as their closer, he can go back out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because
nobody's in their bullpen.
No, Canada. I mean, he basically threw 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 pitches, and that's it.
A change up here from Birch. And Walsh just a little out front.
So 2-2. Olson's got it. Olson's going to throw to third, and it's dug out by Chapman, and now there's going to be a rundown. So Ohtani's going to try to stay in the rundown long enough. He can't do it, and Walsh is going to have to stay at first.
And that's
so
why
that is huge.
That's why the man wins a Gold Glove.
That's it.
Hard enough. And that's, you know, as a base runner, you assume a ball to the right side, you're going to make it to third. And you have a Gold Glove first baseman, a very smart hit, hard, boom, watch this. Strong throw, good pick by Chappie. And there you have the rundown. And Ohtani could not get in the rundown long enough. And there's the out. And Walsh had to stay at first base, and that's the key right there, because Ohtani was looking back almost like he thought maybe that was going to happen. If he had looked back initially, he could have gone back to second. Instead, he continued to third base and got a no man's land. Of course, if it's the first time it's ever happened, you don't know what you're supposed to do in the first place. He may have been thinking, how did I get here? I struck out on 3 pitches at the end of the 9th inning, and here I am at second base leading at the 10th. That's huge out.
So 0-1 the count to Tommy La Stella. And La Stella is going to loop one into right field, and that's a base hit. Walsh will get to second. So what we really didn't talk about, guys, is there's a lot of articles written about the strategy, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what happens, this, that, with starting an inning with a guy at second base. And now the Angels are kind of back to where they wanted to be with getting that runner in scoring position. But of course, the thing that came up was, do you bunt?
Right.
And most of the articles that I read, if you're the visiting team, probably not a good idea to bunt.
Right.
Dallas, I'm sure you probably read those same articles.
Sure, you want to give yourself a chance to try to get as many runs as possible, accumulate as big of a cushion as possible. And you talk about the run expectancy table, and that's a lot of math we can get into maybe on another time. But the idea is you want to give yourself the best opportunity to win the ball game, and trading 1 out for 1 run this late in the ball game without you being able to leave the field the victor, not necessarily the best strategy.
1-0 to Albert Pujols. Basically, what it sort of all came down to is just play it. Just let it play. And the only time you may think about bunting the guy over to third is if you're the home team and the other team did not score in the top of the inning.
Exactly. That's why if the A's can't hold the Angels from scoring, then Bob Melvin has that option to do exactly that.
1-1 to Pujols. Pujols popped it up. Allen got it. 2 away, big out.
I'll be honest with you guys. A couple of pop-ups caught in this game I thought were in the seats, but they're just, the spin I guess is taking them back and keeping them in play because there's so little foul territory behind home plate. Normally those balls like that are in the seats. But fortunately for the A's in this case, with the big Albert Pujols at the plate, didn't happen.
So now it's Castro. And just a reminder, in the bottom of the 10th inning, it would be Marcus Semien who would be the runner at second base. Laureano would be the hitter, followed by Chapman and Davis.
And Laureano's had such a good night, you wouldn't expect him to bunt. Remember last year when he bunted on his own and had to apologize to the manager?
So here's Castro.
He didn't have to, but he did.
Castro with the home run in the 9th inning to tie it.
It's all his fault.
2 on and 2 out.
take you back to that fateful blow. Big home run by Castro. Fastball leaks out over the heart of the plate from Liam Hendricks. After not getting the call on the slider he would have liked to have gotten, Castro takes advantage of extra life.
Walsh at second, LaStella at first, 2-0. In the dirt, and now it's 3-0. Andrelton Simmons is the on-deck hitter. He always seems to be a tough out against the A's. So Burke Smith has to come back with at least one strike to Castro.
Man, I hope he's not swinging 3-0 on that one strike if he throws it.
And it was not close. So now the bases are loaded and no room for air for Burke Smith.
Now batting, number 2, Andrelton Simmons.
Well, this is a time when Simmons, a very good hitter, would take advantage of 4-pitch walk with the hitter in front of him and look for one pitch and try to do some damage. So that's where Burke Smith and Olson Allen have to be careful in how they approach Simmons in this at bat.
Simmons waits and he goes after the first pitch and rolls it foul. Simmons, a couple of fly balls, reached on an error and has singled, 1 for 4. Well, if nothing else, putting the runner at second base to start the half inning, it brings drama immediately into the inning. Fouled straight back on a high fastball. So aggressive is Andrelton Simmons, but now he's behind in the count 0-2.
It's interesting that Burke Smith pitching out of the windup. Although, I mean, it's almost like it's a stretch because he's so compact, barely moves his left foot and does a little bit of a hesitation, which you have to wonder if that's dangerous.
That's right. Any extra base hit probably gives Castro the opportunity to score from first base.
Yeah.
Open stance for Simmons. Way outside. 1-2 the count. Montas, Petit, McFarland, Soria, Diekman, Hendricks, and Smith. The pitchers tonight for the Athletics. Grounded to the right side. Barreto scoops it up, flips to first, and Burke Smith gets out of it. So the Angels could not convert with the runner at second and nobody out. See if the A's can. If they do, they're going to win it.
Laureano, you want to see a couple walk-offs that was strange? How about this? Cleveland, he slips and falls, and the A's win on the walk-off. But how about this one? Even more strange against the White Sox. A ground ball to shortstop, a little flip to second base, a bad throw into the no man's land, and here we go. And there's your walk-off. Chad Pinder scoring all the way, slid into second, scored from second, and Laureano with a couple of walk-offs. So biggest question now, though, with Semien starting at second base, what does Laureano do?
Well, that's what we just talked about.
Yep.
And all the numbers and all the analytics and all that say, well, if you were going to bunt, this would be the time to do it. Now, that doesn't mean the A's are going to do that. Maybe they don't believe in all that statistical stuff in this situation. Let's see. Semien at second, Laureano the hitter. And the first pitch is a strike. Funny, the A's were able to execute defensively last half inning, and that was probably the difference in the inning. They made a big play on Matt Olson getting the runner at second base. 0-1 to Laureano. Base hit wins it. 1-1 the count. Chapman and then Davis. Taylor Ward left field. Jared Walsh first base.
Pop-up foul. Well, you know what the A strategy is, don't we?
Yep. So 1-2 to Laureano. Homer double, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored for Laureano tonight. Shoots that one foul.
That's really what the philosophy pretty much has been. Get a runner at second base, nobody out. You had 3 chances to get him in with a base hit. Sacrifice him to third, you give up an out. But at least at that point, the infield does come in.
Robles, second inning of work.
Oh,
and that shoots past Laureano.
Wow.
And it hit him.
Yeah, hit it in the back. Yeah.
So that one nowhere close. It almost went behind him.
And this is a fastball that just gets away from Robles. Laureano almost wears one of the base of the neck. This thing continued to creep up. Oh.
It would have been better for the A's if it had gone behind him because Castro was not going to get to it. And that had been a wild pitch. And Semien could have gotten to third, we think, unless the ball would have come back to Castro.
That's true.
Yeah.
So here's Chapman, first and second, nobody out. Chapman takes inside.
Now, September the 25th, we mentioned a blown save for Robles, and in Anaheim, Matt Chapman, he got it and got all of it over. He cheered, yelled at his teammates, and you saw the excitement of the dugout as Matt Chapman did not have a particularly great August and September. That was huge for the A's and for Matt Chapman.
Missed again, and now it's 2-0. So the A's with a terrific opportunity to win it here in the bottom of the 10th.
That was a 2-run home run. The Angels had the lead in that game down in Anaheim.
Chapman takes a strike right down the middle.
Didn't see a lot of Matt Chapman's batting practice during the summer camp 2.0 spring training, but in spring training in Mesa he was doing or trying to do what he did back in the 8th inning. And he got the double or the triple actually off the right field wall. Stay back, hit the ball to the opposite field. Be a great opportunity to do it again.
Strike at the knees. So Robles comes back with a couple of good fastballs, and Chapman unable to pull the trigger. So now the count is 2-2. Lou Trevino is warming up in the A's bullpen. Inside and a full count. Well, guys, do you start the runners? Another strategy to think about.
Yeah. Well, the old saying is relievers, posers especially, don't have very good holds. I don't think
they're not going. It's bounce foul.
I like where we're sitting here. You've got nobody out, 2 on, a couple opportunities should things not work out at the plate for Chappie. You get that offense moving, you run the risk of strike him out, throw him out. And then you're really behind the 8 ball.
Or a line drive and a triple play.
That's it. Well, that would not be good at all.
No, I've seen it. Saw it in New York with Randy Velarde. Unassisted triple play.
Robles a check, and the pitch fouled straight back.
And that's why there's so many ways to dissect this situation. You know, you're never really a fan of adding base runners, but in the Angels situation, Naylor Laureano does put a double play in order. Should Chapman keep it on the ground in the infield?
Well, between third and short, it's a base hit because Fletcher seems to be guarding the line a little bit.
Another 3-2. Here it is. Cute foul. And you know, Dallas, you bring up an interesting point. If you're the Angels in this situation where you did not score in the top of your inning, so at the bottom of the inning, runner at second immediately, is putting the guy on first an option?
Intentional walk.
That's
exactly.
it. Right? That's absolutely one of the prevailing thoughts has been, let's put the guy on, we'll get the double play in order, and that's been the thought. If they're going to bunt and get him over to third, I'm going to intentionally walk the next guy, put the double play in order, get the ground ball, call it a day.
Because that back runner doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Another 3-2. Good battle here, and that's a swing and a miss. 95 right in under the hands, and Chapman strikes out.
Now batting, number 2, Chris Davis.
Matt Chapman's been in the middle of some pivotal moments tonight here. Looking to try to end the game for the A's. Gets a fastball up, and it looks like Robles just beats Chappie to a spot.
So that's 11 strikeouts tonight for Angels pitchers. And here's Chris Davis with a chance to be a hero. Looking for a base hit. And that one is off Castro to the backstop, and the runners move up.
And you bring the lefty in to face Matt Olson after they intentionally walk KD.
Well, Castro could not knock it down, and now let's see what Joe Madden does.
He has to reach, and a backhand is not good for the veteran catcher, Jason Castro. Normally, you see a catcher get in front of a ball instead of backhanding it.
Uh-oh. We're going to have new infielders. We get a lot going on here, folks. Taylor Ward, the left fielder, is coming in. He's going to grab an infielder's glove. Let's see where Joe Madden puts him.
So they're going to go with 5 infielders.
That's it.
Yeah. With a right-handed batter, I guess they would prefer to have KD hit in this situation versus the lefty coming in to face Matt Olson.
So Ward will play at the second base spot. LaStella, Simmons, Fletcher are on the left side. So 5 infielders, 2 outfielders. Chris Davis is probably looking out there going, what the heck is going on?
Because you saw the Giants with 4 outfielders against Matt Olson. And now you have 5 infielders.
1-0 to Chris Davis, and that's a strike. The interesting thing here, though, Ray, is that the 2 outfielders are playing center field and right field. There's nobody in left field.
Yeah, that is. So you'd have to think he's going to be pitched away.
Yep.
But KD has the power to go that direction. Just get it in the air. They have to play shallow, which they are in right field and center field.
Just a touch low. Robles wanted it. In fact, he asked Brian Knight, is it low? Brian Knight says, I'm not going to talk to you.
I'm not going to tell you either way. Because I've had a bad night, so forget it.
It looked like it may have been a touch low.
Well, that's it. And Robles has that sinking fastball action on it. Just never started out high enough to catch the zone.
He hasn't called that pitch all night anyway.
Second and third, 1 out. The winning run is Marcus Semien. And that one misses low. 3-1. I guess if you're Robles, you can pitch carefully to Chris Davis because you do have first base open. But at some point, you got to get an out if you're Robles.
You got to be careful about trying to bury a slider or something here to see if you can get KD to fish. Wild pitch gets away. That's ball game.
Especially if Castro tries to block it like he did the last one.
3-1. And that one misses outside, and it's a walk. So it will be the left-handed hitting Olson. And Robles is going to be done. They're going to bring in a lefty to face Olson. So it'll be lefty on lefty. A's trying to win it here in the bottom of the 10th inning.
Your attention, please.
All your baseball action, in-game video highlights, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboard standings, game day live pitch by pitch, and much, much more. Download the MLB app today, the official app of Major League Baseball.
All right, so Marcus Semien is the winning run. He's standing at third base with 1 out. The bases are loaded. And it'll be Colby Milner. Last year with the Rays, he's also been with the Phillies. Colby Milner.
And you cannot look for too much from him. So infield, outfield will play in. Actually, they're going with the 5 infielders still with him.
And they have outfielders in shallow left center and shallow right center. Trout's in very shallow left center.
As well as Matt Olson stays back, this should be a good opportunity for him to hit the ball hard someplace. Hopefully just not at somebody.
First pitch is hit right field. This is going to win it. Let's just see how far it goes. And it is gone. That's a grand slam home run to walk this thing off. Matt Olson does not wait around. He hits one into the seats, and it's a 7-3 final in extra innings. Oh my goodness. What is going on in 2020? Yeah, they're going to celebrate a little bit.
Matty O! Do it to him, big fella. No waiting around. Lefty on lefty. Gets a little cement mixer over the middle. And you know the drill. Pack your bags, folks. All aboard. Next stop, Pound Town. Ball game.
So Matt Olson on the first pitch he sees, drives one into the seats, a grand slam to win it. So once he got it up in the air, the A's were going to win it no matter what. But he will take a grand slam. So the A's win the first game of this 2020 season in dramatic fashion. And hey, we had extra innings for the first time. We saw
how do you score
how
that
works.
How do you score that?
How
do you score Marcus Semien scoring the winning run without getting a hit or an at bat?
He's a really good player.
And that's exactly what happened.
So time of game was 3 hours and 46 minutes. The final score tonight in 10 innings, the Athletics 7 and the Angels 3. We'll stick around. A's post-game live presented by Toyota is going to get started in just a little bit. Brody Brazil is standing by, but we want to hear from Matt Olson first. He's the hero tonight in Game 1 of 2020. So quite a ball game. It was entertaining to say the least.
What was the time of game?
3 hours and 46 minutes. The A's will take it as they get ready to roll day game tomorrow. Dallas is downstairs with the hero, Matt Olson. Dallas, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Matty O, big day today. Obviously a historical moment. You didn't get off to the conventional start of the season. Just talk a little bit about what it is to experience an opening day in front of no fans, but still be back on the diamond.
Yeah, definitely a weird one for us, but you know, we found ourselves in these tight late games a lot last year, and you know, this is just kind of what we do. We keep grinding, and you know, we're always in the game, so good win for us.
Talk to me, big fella. All right, we've got extra innings. We put a man on second base. We got a ground ball to you. You have Gold Glove written all over you. Are you anticipating that play to nail Shohei Ohtani? Take us through that.
Yeah, you know, Chappie and I have been talking about that one for a while. Just something to keep in mind, and especially with the new rule. You know, it's something that's definitely in play. Once Walsh came in, we kind of figured they weren't bunting, and told Chappie to still keep his eyes up. And you know, Chappie picked me up on that scoop. Couldn't quite get it there, but yeah, glad we got that out. And you know, got on first, big time difference, and got on third there.
And finally, they bring in the lefty. You've got 2 outfielders, 5 infielders. You're not waiting around. You get a wrinkle over the middle. How good does it feel to come up big and make history game 1 of the season?
That's what we've been waiting for. We waited however many months for this. The moments you live for, and glad we got the win.
Right on. Well, congratulations, Ellie. Go celebrate with the rest of the guys. Good one to get under the belt.
Appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Dallas. So there is your hero tonight, Matt Olson, a grand slam to win it in the bottom of the 10th inning. 7-3 is the final as the A's beat the Angels. Day baseball tomorrow. We'll be back with you, Sean Manai and Dylan Bundy, tomorrow, 1:05 first pitch. A's post-game live presented by Toyota is all set to roll. Let's go to Brody Brazil, who's in his living room.